Hit it, hit it.
Close your eyes, take one breath in, let love begin. You didn't find us by chance. This show, this vibe was calling you. That grow show, so the soul let it grow. You done know it's deeper than trees. This, that show where we plant beliefs. Miracle vibes in the words we sow. Every time you tune, your spirit grow. Potent speak with a healer's tongue. Words hit different, they old yet young. Coot man chant from a silver crown. Truth so deep, it calm you down. Now listen, your heart feel warm. That's the vibe, love breaking norm. We talking plants, but it's more, you see. It's about what you hold spiritually. 11 sharp, your soul aligned. No mistake, it's perfect time. You tune in once, next week again. You're feeling peace, and you don't know when. That seed inside your mind, water it with truth, and take your time. Let the green light shine from deep within. That grow show where the real begin. You're safe now, you're seen, you're growing.
Come on, welcome back to that.
Welcome on that grow show.
How's it going, Evil?
What's up, Wes and John?
What is going on? Well, trimming some weed, enjoying a nice Wednesday evening. How about yourself? Love that back.
Yeah, I'm having some fresh bud to smoke. Some critical Kush bubblegum. Pretty enjoyable. And what's about you, Potent?
Just working on getting a bunch of the edible stuff ready to go. Working in the garden, getting a bunch of seeds going and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's been fun. That time of year, it's springtime, getting all the gardens ready.
What you smoking on tonight?
I got a bunch of stuff. This is like a guava something fuck. Guava something. It's really nice. Yum yum. Really terpy.
Look like peanut butter caramel.
Yeah, that's nice and solventless.
Gua-
Yum
Guava is
yum.
one of my fucking favorite fruits. I just love guavas. They're so good.
Like guava and banana. It's fucking fire.
Guavas.
All right, we're pretty smoky tonight.
Oh,
What are you trimming there, Wes?
This one looks. This is some candy store that's been sitting in my cure room for fucking way too long. Um, yeah.
It's perfect for dry sieve. Put your screen on the table, man.
The screen is right here. It's all on top of screen. You know what I was gonna do though? I was working on this before the show, but I broke my drill bit. What I was gonna do is, those little hand. I'll just grab it.
It's gonna be one of those like automated hedge trimmers, I'm guessing. No, it's gonna come out with a Manscape buzzer from
All right, so
Manscaped.
the Manscaped 2001 here.
Holy shit.
Okay, so these oscillating saws here, right? I got one of these for doing little jobs here, cutting in little tight corners and doing stuff like that. But what I was thinking was, I was like, it comes with three different variable speeds of vibration on it, right? And stuff. So what I was thinking was, if I drill through the one of these old blades, and just so just take the old blade, drill through it in a couple spots, and then rivet it onto my screens here. That way, I should be able to get the screens like vibrating at a nice, gentle, but yet consistent thing. So I'm thinking that this might be a new grand invention. Well, anyway,
But why don't you just take a tumbler?
I have the tumbler. I just find the tumbler like the tumbler doesn't do as well as like the screen does. Like a gentle screening seems to do better than the tumbler. The tumbler puts a lot more plant matter into it. But
Oh, but
but
you can put it on another screen after that. You clean it after.
yes, yes. I'm just too lazy. I just want it to be easier,
You need to static tech and
bro.
all that thing, man. You cannot be lazy.
Just get like an aluminum frame t-shirt screen and do it that way. That's like 45 micron or 50 micron. I forget what the thread count equivalent is. I used to have that memorized. But then you could screw that blade to that frame real easy with like aluminum screws.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm working with here. Is one of those screening frames. You know, man. And, yeah, one of the frames with the aluminum on the side, and I was gonna throw right in, put that thing on the side there. Right?
We can't hear you very well.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, now talking in the mic that don't help. Yeah, so it has the aluminum side on it, so that's exactly what I was gonna do is put the blade onto the side of it there, and then try to see if I could, yeah, see how it works. Anyways, adding vibration in.
But
I'll
you can
probably.
also put your screen on a subwoofer and dance a nice rave all night long. Make some dry stuff at the same time.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, it works. It works.
Well, I was making it with a subwoofer for a while. It depends on who's your neighbor.
Yeah, I don't. They'll keep coming over. I think the party's still going.
Yeah, they keep knocking over. I don't know if it's what you mean. I guess they dislike my type of music, but there was a lot of bass.
It's always fun
So
when you show up with a proper system and you just like blast the shit out of a house.
yeah, you got just a nice vibration for your screen. You need to find the beat, man. I know that All That Green had used the same artist for the intro song for her show, Iceny, but I don't know how she had the file to share it. But would you be able to copy it and extract the file, Steve?
It'd be better if we could get the original. The original will be better quality, but I mean, worst comes to worst, we can do that.
Yeah, I just don't know what the file you can use to share it with us.
Yeah, if we can get Icy and I to email it to one of us, then it would probably be the best. Then we could file it with some footage.
Somebody just shot up a Walmart in Gainesville, Florida.
Hello, chat G5, Jack Beanstalk, All That Grain, Supreme Grape, Cloud, and that's pretty much it. A Guerrero Grow. Oh, Guerrero. Guerrero, why don't you jump in? Been a while since we've had a chat with you. Guerrero. She had to save it on her Dropbox or something and then move it back to her phone. What's a Dropbox?
Just a place you can store stuff off a line. There's even a way that she can just send us a link from her Dropbox too. That
But what if you? Yeah, okay. You need to share it otherwise. That's it. Hello, Brian. And so, what we got tonight? Have you took any other picture of your growth this week, or?
oh man, you want to hear what I did? I'll tell you what I did. Tell you what I did. I ran off my mouth last show, and I fucking when you were like, you want the cut of the Chernobyl? It might have thrips, and I'm like, I don't have anything, nothing to worry about. Fuck, I'm all clean. Fucking guess what I have right now? Guess what I have?
Trips?
Thrips.
Oh, you already got trips, so you can get
Yeah,
more.
yeah. It was you run your mouth, and this is what happens.
Oh,
Just
I track the trip for you.
so I'm gonna have to freaking order some hypo what are those ones hypo miles, is that the one?
Apiopsis melis
Yeah, I gotta order some of them,
something.
some of those, and some.
I found this today. I thought it was pretty cool. It's a vase bong. So you sit it on your table, looks like this. Then you take the top off. It's like a bong underneath. I don't know. I thought it was pretty great. Maybe a little bit pricey, but still cool. I don't know. I thought that was great.
It is pretty. I like I
Yeah.
like I like functional art. Going on a
So now that you got trips, are you tripping?
brief- well, I'm flowering, so I haven't done anything yet. Don't want to spray anything in there. So we're gonna try to.
Yeah,
Uh,
and flower normally they don't are affected that much by trips unless you have a big infection before.
no, they're pretty small right now, but I'm just worried about the amount of time that I have to flower on these ones and twos, right? The onesies or whatever you want to call them. They're gonna take a fair bit.
But
They're
you
gonna take
need
a fair.
something to eat the larva on the soil.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's no, hold on. I was looking on Bug Lady. See, it does.
So you're watching for which the bugs will do the thing, cause you need like two type of bug at least
Yeah,
to
you need
fight it.
I think Facilis and is that how you say it? Man, I'm just butchering fucking right, pests. Other than
Apoapsis
that, and trim
mitis,
control.
is it that?
Yeah. Let's see. There's Cumaris, Hypo. Um, apparently crazy mites will work on them too. I see Anitas Bacarium.
The red
Yeah,
mite?
the crazy mites, the whirligig mites.
They'll do
Those were
they'll
good
there
on them too.
those will work good on them too. I see they have
But
Rove Beetle.
Iceria fumistraceae works really good on them as well.
Or I don't even see that one here. I don't think they offer that one. Yeah, this is kind of what they suggest.
You you got 10,000 cucumbers, 1,000 hypo, and 10 pack. Oh, Coot is there.
Food is
10
here.
pack sticky card.
Yeah, so that's my that's my fun to deal with next week.
So now you got Coots here to tell about your next project with your seeds.
My next project, yeah, well, so I every one of the one back crosses that I started of all six all turned out to be female. So I had planned to make seeds, but at this point I think I'm gonna have to just push back and save the clones and then feminize. I'm gonna feminize one of the clones and reverse it and put the pollen back on it and actually make a feminized line of the
Take you
one back off.
your best two plant and feminize one on each other.
Pretty much. I was gonna feminize. I was gonna reverse the best one and put it back to everything, including itself.
Well, I'm a little disappointed because I thought I was going to be doing a na that you guys are going to be in our 51st state. And to hear you elected these commies, the
Oh
Liberal
no!
Party
You
up
know what?
there.
Hoot. Well, you know what? Right. Trap open for me right there.
You tried to
No.
swear to not talk about politics tonight.
Thing is, this has actually put the fire under my country mountain out here in Alberta. We're really upset about how this election's come out, and they've actually about 15 minutes after the results came out, they were sending emails were going flying left and right, referendum, referendum, whatchamacallit, where you sign up to it. And anyways, right now about 48%.
Petition.
Yeah, 48% of the locals here in Alberta think that Canada doesn't serve us anymore and isn't looking out for our best interest. So we're either going independent. We're probably going independent, and then maybe joining you if the offer's right.
I wish to God that we had I can think of 20 states here that they like to go off and form a new, hillbilly heaven or something. It would be fine with me.
The
Like getting
hillbilly
an
nation of United States.
Yeah, you get an eighth grade education is like getting a PhD in the real world, Well, my boy, Billy Ray Eddie Joe Bodine, he done finished the eighth grade. Come on, commit ciphering, Jethro. Odd times odd is odd. Odd times
Show him
one is
how you can read good.
Yeah.
He's learned
We don't need no education. Because my daddy, he done make money doing moonshine. I want to make money doing moonshine. You got to keep the colors out, though.
Get the gators in the swamp.
Yeah. Fucking shithole country, man.
Well, I don't know. If Canada joined the U.S., we would undoubtedly have the greatest nation in the world. We would have the biggest landmass. We'd have the biggest friggin'. We'd have the resources. We'd have the manpower. Canada would have a military.
Yeah, but don't you have laws up there that people have to finish high school?
No,
it's not even a requirement.
What?
Here.
I have to finish high school? Since when?
Ever since they done kick the coloreds out down there, in hillbilly heaven. Ask our good friend Steve. He lived down there in Tennessee with him. Tell you what I'm talking about. Mud dump gunloons is what I call them.
Yeah, Southern Tennessee is definitely not diverse. I'll put it that way.
Oh, fuck.
But again, Alberta is not very diverse either.
What are you talking about? We're completely diverse. We're made up of
Well, you got
Canadians.
polar
Medicine
We
bear,
got
Hat. Medicine
you
Hat
got
was
polar
not
bear, and
diverse.
you got polar bear.
oh well,
We
and
got a
Pretty
Paula Beer,
much.
did you see the trick that they played on the fucking on people? There was 99 friggin' electorates on Poliver's fucking on Poliver's in his riding. 99. So the people couldn't even find his name on the list. Like, I mean,
I think it's important because you understand it, but most Americans don't. Please explain parliamentary government. That really, when you're voting for the party. Am I correct? And
yes,
then the
you
party
vote
picks
you
its leader. You form a coalition government of not disparate, different factors on the left would form a government if they got the majority,
yep,
and then the right if they got the majority. Do I have basic understanding?
you got it. You got it.
Okay.
I, for one, voted for Romana Didulo. No?
Who?
Okay. Is the self-appointed Queen of Canada who had the
What
whole
what
like RV scam thing going.
what
Oh
was the
yeah.
what what was that?
Can you
I only
find a
vote
clip
for
of
I
that
vote
lady?
for Vermin Supreme.
You know what they're calling the guy that the you just mentioned him, the conservative wackadoodle. They're calling him
Pilev.
Maple Light down here in the media, and at least the left media, so
Yeah,
or
well
Trump
he
Light, Maple Trump Light or something like that, so. Well, here's the thing: most Americans don't understand the amount of crude oil that the United States buys daily from Canada.
from us. Yeah, no,
Uh,
like
fuck. I mean,
well, and you buy it at a $30 a barrel discount. Like you guys get
right,
it
exactly.
way below market value from us because we have nowhere else to sell it because they won't let us build a pipeline to BC and they won't let us build a pipeline to the East Coast. So like we literally have refineries on the
Good of
East
you.
Coast.
So
We
this
have
lady
What's
was born in
okay?
Philippines and self-declared Queen of Canada, and then she got everyone, all of her followers,
She's
to like turn over
native.
all their money, and then they just like get arrested for like not paying for shit, and then yeah, it's funny. Yeah,
Oh,
she's
they
been
like
around
be
for a
sovereign
while.
citizens here in the United States. Same wackadoodles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this lady is a fucking real egotistical maniac.
Oh yeah. Oh, we elect them here. But anyway,
We can do miracle. Elect them.
Well,
yeah, all I can say is
this next
I'm
30
glad
days.
that I'm 74 and I don't have that long, and I've got enough money to last out this piece of shit.
Yeah.
So, you know.
The this next month's gonna get interesting because people are gonna see a bunch of empty shelves and be like, "Oh wait, that asshole's responsible," and it's gonna get real
Mhm.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wait till Susie Homemaker can't go buy a bunch of kids toys for their kids because the cheap Chinese shit isn't here. Like
Yeah,
we're
but
going to set up
Completely
factories
collapsed
here
in the US.
oh yeah. See, here's the thing: Americans really are very unsophisticated. They don't understand how much money the United States owes China, how much notes that China's sitting on. It's like to the tune of $1 trillion.
yeah.
Okay.
They own
And
3% of the debt of America, from what I've heard.
Well,
Well,
not
that,
only
yeah,
that, you got a bunch of
it is.
Europe's gold is sitting in the US that they could recall at any point too after World War II.
Yeah.
UK have finished to pay.
Well, it's kind of, I know about funny. It isn't funny, but it is ironic. So you have these states where you have large, huge farm operations. United States, if you don't have 4,000 acres, you're not really farming. Okay. And yeah, Trump's going to do this, and man, we're really going to make it better for us. And now they're crying like rat eating onions because China doesn't want their soybeans. I mean, that was $25 billion this week. I mean, the amount of money lost just this week in agriculture commodities to the Chinese going, no, we don't need it. We'll buy from Argentina. We'll get our soybeans from Argentina. You know how many soybeans they eat in China? I mean, it's just lunacy. It doesn't make sense. And now they're whining. Doesn't anybody care about Nebraska? Not me, not really. Not when he went 70% Trump. Fuck it. You know,
Yeah, you got
start
an
making tofu. Start making
125%
tofu.
tariff.
Oh, yeah, 145%. One thing about corporations is they like to know what the field is. They don't want surprises. They want supply chains that are intact and keep things moving so they can make products and sell them. That's what corporations do. And when you have this lunacy going on, tariffs are going to be this, no, they're not going to be that. Okay, for example, Canada, which is our biggest trading partner, you know, this for agriculture commodities, is Mexico. For example, the Washington State apple, which is one of the biggest apple producers in North America, over 75% of their crop goes to Mexico. Why would you want to fuck with Mexico? I mean, it's crazy.
The problem
25
is we haven't brought Mexico up to North America or Canada's wage standards. So every business, like all the U.S. manufacturers are moving production to Mexico. Why? Because
Yes.
they can pay $5 an hour versus fucking $40 an hour.
See, there's something that you learn in business school. Corporations aren't people. They don't have feelings. They produce items to sell, goods and services, to make a profit, to pay back their shareholders. That's their goal. And if they have to take manufacturing to the base of the Himalayas, okay, to make 20%, that's what the fuck they're gonna do. I mean, this
They'll
isn't
they'll move to save 3%, man. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, you know what it takes to get a job at a Chinese factory putting electronics together? And in this country, you don't even have to have an eighth grade education. You can get a job stripping tobacco or, I don't know, slopping the
well,
hogs or something.
that's the thing I've been noticing is like I've been noticing like even in Russia and China the fucking life is getting better and better, and here the life is getting worse and worse. It's incredible. It's like we're watching life switching places. Like
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, watch out what's gonna be the middle of it. We're gonna still
See,
look really poor.
Trump has tried to sell the American public that we're going to go back to this post-World War II era where we kicked ass and took names, and we ran the show for the better part of 60, 70 years after the end of World War II. And quite frankly, the rest of the world moved on. You know, I mean, to think that Brazil can replace the soybean crop from the United States to China, that's amazing to me. And it's not just soybeans, it's all kinds of commodities. Mexico gets, for example, Mexico gets 30%, 35% of their beef from American beef producers. Well, guess who stepped in? Brazil. They replaced the American sector, or are in the process of replacing it because they can't get any. You can't plan a society around the mayhem that this clown has brought to the markets, all kinds of markets, the petroleum market, agriculture, forestry. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
see, I would really like to see who Jared Kushner and Donald Trump Jr. are shorting with their own stuff because like with these crazy things, they must be making a fistful of money just knowing
Of course
exactly
they
when
are.
and how he's gonna pull the fucking strings.
You got the president of the United States doing well, not Bitcoin's one of them, but he's
Ripple,
selling his.
Ripple. Yeah, it's
Are you
XRP.
fucking kidding me?
XRP, yeah, XRP is the one he's backing.
It's just
Also, that's the one that Simpson said was going to be worth. That Simpsons predicted was going to swap value with Bitcoin this year.
yeah, right, $100,000. I'll wait to see that one. You know, this guy has
Yeah, I
never.
believe in Bitcoin.
I don't know enough about it. I'm a chicken shit. I put my money in CDs. I take the money and I roll it over, and I don't invest anymore or anything like that. It's just too volatile.
Mm.
I mean, if you put it on in a CD under federal law here, banking laws, they have what they call the FDIC, and you're guaranteed up to $250,000 per institution. Not, in other words, if you had $1 million, you want to put it in 4 banks at 250,000 each, and now you're covered and protected by FDIC. So if you invest in CDs, unless the whole government world crashes, you're guaranteed your money. No, but if I just invest in, fill in the blank. Okay. Yeah, how many deals I've seen in my life? If you just invest in this, it's really going to be a winner. Okay.
I'm not good at investing money. I'm too poor for that.
Well, you're a lot younger than me.
Yeah.
Once you pay off your house and things like that, then you get, and there's a lot of ways it's a rigged game. But it sure wouldn't be investing in, no, I don't know, somebody's seed company. No, he's got the dank, man. Okay.
I would invest in West Engine Seeds Company. You cannot find a male in 6 seeds. But why can't it just pop other seeds?
I could just try and pop the rest, I suppose. Now that I know.
You're gonna make some nice seeds and pop other seeds, right?
True.
No comment.
Could work.
I like that in the original days when you had the BCGA, the British Columbia Growers Association, and they were moving stuff down the West Coast like crazy. You had Breeder Steve and Vic High and Cash Crop Ken or something like that. I can't. There are a bunch of interesting names or whatever, and they dominated the scene in the early '80s. And then I don't want to get into that whole thing, but however the Dutch got their seeds, and that's open for discussion and debate. So I'll stay out of that one. But then all of a sudden because they had catalogs with colored pictures in it. So the one from
Yeah, the
Neville,
Canadian did not have color picture, but we had the
no,
seeds.
no. And they had some really, Jordan of the Islands, his
He still
seeds.
sells seeds to this day,
Right,
Jordan of the Island.
right. Yeah, he's been at it, what, 40 years? Or at least something like that, or
A good
yeah.
20 years.
No, it's longer than that because I remember seeing Jordan of the Islands as early as 91. Yeah,
Maybe in the
91.
90s.
Yeah, or very early 90s.
They
Real late
started in the
80s.
90s, mid
Yeah.
90s, I think.
Yeah, there was like Breeder Steve, there was one pink grapefruit and then sweet pink grapefruit. They were real popular. That was a clone only here in Oregon and Washington. Oregon and Washington before the Dutch, and I put that in air quotes, before the Dutch strains got here. There was a lot of British Columbia strains grown here. A lot, several. So
Yeah, now people grow a lot of a bit of everything. It's not only a West Coast stock like it was for a while.
Oh, that's a good thing. Yeah. Fuck California.
Yeah, people grow a bit of everything.
Well,
But a
you
lot
go to
of
Southern,
Californian genetic and everything. Everything go back to California anyway. I've heard of a strain that was popular in California for a while, and then it came up in Canada, and they've bred it back, and it gonna send back to California. So sometimes they work
for
gene for a while, and then other people work it out for another while, and it come back. It do a full
no,
circle.
I'll stay out of this one. So I don't have much. I don't have much. I have less use for the seed sector, the cannabis world, than I do the nutrient sector. Okay. Somebody please
I
explain to
don't think
me.
that's completely fair.
I mean, someone please explain to me how you can take alfalfa extract, okay, and at less than 1% with water and charge $800 and have people online on weed shows drooling and slobbering about the wonderful crop they got from this shit. I mean, are you fucking kidding me?
It's already
Just how fucking
diluted,
stupid
man.
are
It's
you?
Look,
genius.
I don't get angry at a farmer for fleecing sheep, okay?
Yeah, right.
So you raise sheep now?
Only to rent out as sex partners for seed growers.
Jibe said that he smoked it with Jeeb, the Chernobyl F2. That's a nice plant, right? We like
It
it.
is, it is. I got a few of them started.
What's that one there?
It's a
This one,
Chern.
this one here is this is a candy land. Nothing special.
I
Nothing.
can't even keep track anymore. I mean, somebody will
Yeah.
slobber off about 20 names. Well, this was a Harry's penis crossed back to Fuzzy
A
Wuzzy.
penis
Oh,
envy
wow.
crossed with a
Yeah.
penis envy.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I like when people actually give it a name at least. I mean, versus these these
It's good
See, I
northern
was
enough
lights.
to
never,
hold its name.
see, I was never good at names. That's you can tell. I mean, I named one after my dog, Agnes. Okay, so uh, anyway,
Yeah, I wish I had seeds of that Agnes. It was looking like a giant. What have you smoked lately, Coot? Are you smoking
I
on
just
the
want,
one?
yeah, or a derivative, like, yeah, one of the ones. What I usually do is I create a lot of seeds and then I give them away. Like this last year, okay, now in the last 15 months, I gave away over 5,000 seeds. So, and then other people can take them and create their own little fantasies and stories. And oh no, this one's crossed with the San Francisco Kush. Oh, are you sure it's not the LA Kush? Or is it, anyway.
Clactamus Kush, actually.
Yeah, Clackamas Kush. Knowing full well that the overwhelming majority of people packaging up seeds, which is a whole subculture now. I mean, really. Um, the number that have ever even opened a serious book on plant genetics has to be below 0.1%. What do you think the percentage of strains out there are that contain northern lights at some point in their history?
I got
Like
50%.
Okay, yeah,
90%?
I was gonna say like 75.
Okay, I'll buy that one. 75. I mean, doesn't anybody ever study inbreeding? I mean, just spend a week in Arkansas. Fuck, or where Steve was living in Tennessee. Jesus Christ. You can't keep marrying your sisters, and reproducing with them. Jesus.
Yeah, but if it's your third cousin, you're right.
Have you ever seen pictures of royalty in Europe in the Middle
Yeah, but
Ages?
they were just too
Yeah.
closely related,
No,
no?
their faces. You ever seen what? I mean,
But
seriously,
they are not all like the
these people
Habsburg.
were fucked up. These
The,
people were fucked up.
yeah, but you
Now, the
talk about the
Egyptians had it,
Count of Habsburg
Yeah,
with
yeah.
his huge jaw.
but you go back and look at the Egyptians. They were marrying their mothers, and the father marrying their daughter. I mean, the royalty, not the
Oh yeah, I
not
know.
the, no, the royalty, because they were holy or whatever. They were in charge of shit. I mean, some really weird marrying your sister. Now I know that's popular in certain parts of the United States, but my God, you know,
Man, there's some people watching this show in Europe that are just like, holy cow, what's going on in the United States?
I mean, we don't know either. There's some nice
But
looking type
whatever. I'm
plants.
still I'm still hoping to be 51.
No, I had 74 last month, so I count it as a victory lap.
Oh, I'm at
So
51st state, but yeah, yeah. Yeah, 74 is a good number, man. Still plenty there, I'd say. Still plenty there.
well, I look at it this way: I got enough in the bank to take care of my burial costs. So other than that, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to be here. I already had my fun.
Oh, Iceny is alive. Iceny, why don't you jump on the show if you're awake? Iceny said that he's 51, soon 52. We're stronger than
I,
ever.
God,
Iceny is the one
I,
that
I
made the song for the intro. So,
well, my son were alive. He'd be 50 next month. Yeah. So
Iceny say it's too early.
there's some good
Oh,
looking Thai plants.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, Garcia, how
hello,
you doing? Those are
Garski.
beautiful,
Oh, thanks,
beautiful
man.
plants.
I appreciate it. Yeah, good. They had a good run. It was open
Yeah,
pollination that I did for the last well, since 2019, I've been doing lots of open pollination. So eventually
yeah,
it got to a point where it was uh an amalgamation of many different plants.
absolutely.
But they are
Nice structure.
males and females in the background there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the biggest one, it kind of had like a cream smell to it. So yeah, it was a neat one. I can't wait to see what happens this year. So what's going on with you,
Let me
Coot?
just
I don't see.
Oh, just hanging out and being an asshole. So I got that one down. So might as well go with what you know. You know what I mean? Hey, let me show you. Here's the TO in all of its glory. All right, hold on a minute. This is the. Wait a minute, what? Hmm. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm going to put this in chat. Or,
On it.
oops, did the wrong one. Okay. So this is the mother of all the stuff that I gave away for the last couple of 3 years. Anyway, that's the original female from so much for what do you call it? Yeah, genetic drift.
Yeah, that's fun. I like that. Is that directly in the ground or is that in your
Yeah,
house?
yeah. Yeah, that's also at the foothills of the Cascades. So it's not out in warmer weather. It's actually cooler weather, but so this was taken in the third, like day 22 of August. And so we were able to get another 7 weeks out of it before we took it down.
Well, you were forced to cut it down because of the weather.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Our big issue up here is mold, powdery mildew, because the rain season hits about October. It starts October 1st is the official, rain season. And so if you're not out of the field by the middle of October, you're just rolling the dice of losing the whole goddamn thing, to mold,
Wes,
powdery
what you're
mildew.
thinking
The,
about your
the,
really handicap plant that you have in your seedling?
what do I think about it? I think it's a really nice
Yeah, when
plant.
you see about that plant and the plant that you had really compact, it looked like that.
That actually looks like it has a lot longer, thinner leaves than my indica one. My indica one has really fat, and the like. You know how sometimes they
Yeah,
get ruffly. They get like very ruffly. It looks like a bit. It looks like a Kandahar, but it reminds me of the Mac. How like slow it grows. But I actually think it's the one to keep with of the one because like with the long flowering time of the one, that one is not going to be overgrowing the veg area by the time I'm ready for it. So it might actually be the best case scenario for the
I
one I
hope it's
keep.
gonna be nice smoke. They all
I hope
depend
so
on the
too.
smoke you're gonna get.
Garth,
Look,
I'm not trying to sell you anything. I've never had anybody come back and go, well, I got to get something better.
well,
So,
exactly. And like they already smell amazing. Like they already smell amazing. They're already like they're already as pungent as can be. Like they smell really like they smell old school, like just good smelling cannabis, like really good.
right. Well, it is. It hasn't been improved
Not
or
yet.
whatever. Yeah,
Doesn't need to be improved if it's good.
yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
I'm excited. Nice. It's nice to have. It's good to be growing. I should run out with my camera and get a few pictures.
You won't be disappointed. That's a promise.
I don't think I will be at all. They seem like they seem really nice. They seem really nice. They're really hardy. They're easy cloners. They clone super easy.
Yes.
Um, yeah, they're just hardy as all hell. They're like I could totally tell that they would handle outdoors really well. Like
Yeah, big yields and really nice. Oh, here I'll show you. Okay, this is
Where's Gorski? We've lost him? Oh, he's back. Yeah, Gorski, I thought that we had lost you.
Yeah, my headphones aren't working for some stupid reason. That's okay.
Alright, we got you back.
Yeah, for sure. What's going on with you, man? What are you growing lately?
Nothing. I cannot grow in my place.
You can't even grow spider plants?
Oh, I can grow tomato and pepper plant and yeah, that's pretty much what I got right now. Pepper plant and tomato.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to get started if I want a garden this year. Although I have another 3 weeks until it's safe to put it outside.
Same,
I
same
love
here.
the
It's,
color.
we're guaranteed one
That
more. Yeah, that is a nice looking bud.
there's some
Uh,
teal buds that's what you're growing. There, Garth and Chad.
Oh, those look like amazing to trim.
Yeah, I'm not the best trimmer. I could
Oh,
never get a job, believe me.
I if you can believe it, I used to like trimming. It was therapeutic.
Sure, I can
I
see that.
I
I
enjoyed
couldn't
I
do it,
enjoyed
but
it.
I can understand that for sure.
Yeah. I just I mean if I was able to be one of those people that could sit there and get paid for a 10-hour shift or a 12-hour shift, I'd probably prefer to do that 4 days a week instead of 5 8-hour shifts,
Right.
you know? And
Of course,
it was nice
with the
to sit
prices
next to
so
somebody
cheap
who liked
here, I
it.
don't know. Yeah.
What's that?
The prices are so cheap here, I'm sure it's all done by machine.
Oh
The
yeah.
buds, I mean, the prices here are crazy cheap. You can buy ounces for, 35, $40. What does that tell you? That's like 1960 prices. So,
Yeah, the pay was shit, but I mean I did it for 8 months before they let me be a grower. We got paid $13 an hour, man. I make more at fucking McDonald's flipping burgers for
yep.
$20. So
so flipping burger is a better paid than growing weed.
Yeah. There's no money if you work for somebody you work for a grower, you ain't gonna make shit. Less than shit. This isn't, you understand, this is just another business. This isn't about being groovy and, let's put on some whatever the hottest music, dope music is. Okay, and sit around and, get all, you check in like you're in a prison. You got to show a card with a camera system to get into the facility. I mean, it's like being in jail. You're in a concrete building. I've seen better county jails. Not haven't been in them, but I mean, go visit friends or whatever. So I mean, it's a shithole. And you're constantly being watched, and production, and now with remediation, they can take shit weed that's all moldy and remediate it. Now of course you wipe out all the terpenes and terpenoids, so you buy those and you grind it up, you spray it on there, and you turn it into pre rolls. I mean, This isn't about being groovy, and it's just another agriculture commodity.
Yeah, there are some really good paid job in that industry, but most of the people are not well paid for sure.
No, not here on the West Coast. I can't speak to other countries, but I can tell you that if you work in the cannabis industry as an employee, make sure you get big tubs of Vaseline to bring to work with you because you're going to need it.
Oh,
Yeah.
but we got a shop of lubricant just beside a shop of cannabis over here in my city. It's pretty convenient. And you can
I
get
promise you,
lubricate and get your weed just in the same parking lot.
I promise you, I wouldn't last a day on a cannabis farm, not a day. You know,
Yours
Me,
would
mean,
be perfect to sell it.
I have been to farms that called me out there, that consulting bullshit. Oh yeah, we're going to pay you, when we get the crop in. Okay. Anyway, watching fresh manure, so fresh that it was still steaming, and coming in from they go pick it up at the dairy or wherever, and come back and put hot manure on top of the plants and say, "Yeah, we're doing this organically." No, you're not. No, you're not. That has nothing to do with organics. That's just a shithead way of growing. Then somebody, well, I've been doing this for 5 years. That's it. Anyway, so hell, in Oregon, you can't even smell this shit when you go to buy it. It's all sealed up in plastic.
Yeah,
same
over
here in
here
Canada.
too.
Same here in
Yeah,
Canada.
you
There you
cannot
go.
smell it.
Legal, but not legal to smell it, not legal to feel it.
Yeah, it's like one
Yeah,
of
but
those
you
they've
can go
done.
see the stripper and touch it.
Don't get me started. But yeah, that's a good
Are you trying
analogy.
to take everything from me, Evil?
I don't know, well, but you can touch it.
Yeah, yeah. Buying weed's like buying a stripper, right? You can't smell it or touch it.
But you can touch it.
Okay, I got to show you. This is before any of you guys were born. Remember, this is the days of Polaroid cameras. And now I can't find the goddamn picture. Son of a bitch.
Skorsky. What kind of flower gun is you gonna show?
The, the second to last one there with the purple, really thin leaf on it. What was that, Groski? One before that.
Oh, this one?
Yeah,
That was a cross with Oreo, I believe.
really nice looking plant.
Yeah, it was Oreo. I believe it was an Oreo Blizzard cross. The year before this, I got it from Timmy's Garden, and yeah, he's a cool guy. He gave me some free seeds, and yeah, it had an awesome cola, and it
Oh
crossed
yeah.
something out in my garden because the year before they were smaller softballs, uh, and then this time it grew much larger, uh, a larger cola. But this was one of those unlabeled, growing in the pot outside, transferred into the ground plants. So, but
The
I
best
believe I
kind.
the Oreo Blizzard pot. So if you look up Instagram on Timmy's garden, he had an Oreo Blizzard cross. But yeah, no, that one came out magnificent, and then this one was a lot of fun too. That one was one of the. It was like a purple tie haze, red leb, um, puck cross. Mango haze times purple tie haze times red Lebanese times purple tie haze times oh shit, I can't remember the other cross times puck. But yeah, it was a big one.
Okay, Garth, that one there is 1978.
Are we looking at Polaroids?
Yeah. A little paranoid.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, that would be yeah.
I like the stick above the head, fucking not even reaching the top.
Did you put the mask on the plant too?
Yeah, right. That was 20 years minimum in those days. So, I mean, seeds in your car. I know guys that they didn't go to prison, but they got, taken into the LA County Sheriff's because they found 5 fucking seeds in their floorboard.
Got gift possession.
I mean, yeah, that was the first year of growing tie seeds. They just come in that past Christmas, 77.
Is that when you were getting the big shipments?
Yeah.
When you were talking about containers and stuff?
Yeah. So,
yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah, there's a little bit of history for you.
And then you did your selection in the field year after year, letting it pollinate openly, or was that
understand that the word sensimilla without seeds wasn't even coined until 77. It wasn't even a thing.
Yeah.
And what brought it on was the Colombian weed, because there was so much fucking seeds in this shit. The worst weed ever distributed in the world was Colombian. The commercial Colombian, just crap. And
they just had some really bad grow methods and some like superstitious stuff that they did to fucking that really made their plants friggin' disgusting. One thing they used
Dry
to
in the
do is
sun.
they used to barber the plants and let them die in the sun so that they would turn that golden color, and basically they would be completely harsh. And like very rarely would you find anything that was really good in it when you would get it. Like, but
it was nothing in a ton to pull out 300 to 350 pounds of fucking seeds. Okay, 15%. It's insane.
So where's the container of seeds, man? Can we find
they got thrown out the fucking vehicle, out the windows of moving vehicles. There was a few putting
that's your feral seeds of today.
Putting film canisters and put on shelves. I mean, some of those are coming back now, though.
Hey, Gorski, in today's money, okay, a pound of tie sticks at what I would call not street level, but just above that. The guy that's selling quarter pounds, all right. The price of a pound, full pound, was $3,200. Okay, in today's money, that's $12,000. And what that proves is that a true stoner, which you don't have anymore, there's no cannabis culture. There's fucking seed collectors and fertilizer collectors. No, I got the really good stuff. It's Tiger Bloom or whatever the fuck. It just proves me that true stoners will pay anything for a bowl that's better than the last one they had. Because no matter what the price, if it was better, you could sell it. Now, you weren't selling it to street people, you're selling it to attorneys and shit like that. I mean, people had money, disposable income. Not everyone can afford a Bugatti, right? So if you're selling Bugattis, you got to pick who you're going to go, try to sell to, right? So anyway,
No, I get your
I had
point,
a
man.
I had a
Go ahead.
doctor that I used to have to go pick up weed for because he couldn't be seen
hmm
going into the village, into the places. So he'd have me as soon as he caught me and his son smoking together. As soon as he caught me, he's like, "You got this. You're gonna keep getting it. You're not giving it any more to my son."
I love it.
Wanted to
What fucked
smoke it
everything
all.
up? What fucked up the cannabis scene in the United States was cocaine. Because by 19, it was a lot. You're going to make a lot more money moving cocaine than selling weed. I mean, they just, come
I
on.
mean, well, the sentence was about the same, so
Yeah.
just makes more economic sense.
Well,
Carry a
yeah, if
lot
you're
So,
more.
you might as well, if they're gonna treat you like a drug lord, you might as well be one.
well, and what happened then is there was a huge vacuum in the early 80s. And that's when the domestic thing got kicked in. Because no one was growing a lot. I mean, it wasn't like you couldn't get tons of sensimilla. I mean, a 5 pound hit was a big fucking deal. And who cared if you're getting 3,200 a pound for it? Anything that was seedless and green, you made a lot of money. Just put it that way. I remember guys, growers that if when they'd say you went and picked up a quarter pound or something like that, right? Which was a usual buy, something that like 3 or 4 ounces. And they'd tell you, hey, you find any seeds in these buds, and I'll pay you $50 was a lot of money. $50 a seed. They wanted the seeds back. But the game hadn't even started yet because the Dutch hadn't got involved. With the SSSC, which you guys would know it today as Cincy Seeds, their first name was SSSC, and then Neville's, what was it, the Seed Bank? Yeah.
Yeah, the
So,
seed bank have become Census Seed.
no, no. SSSC
Yeah, the
became
right.
Cincy Seeds. I promise you. Look it up. You can find their catalog online, SSSC, Super Sativa Seed Club. Look it up. The catalogs are all over the internet. And you'll see they're the ones that created Afghani number one. Actually, they bought it from Sacred Seeds down in Southern Oregon, but that's another
You've
story.
buy it from some. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a group that has been around for decades called Sacred Seeds.
Yeah.
And they,
Never love buy seeds from them too.
right. Yeah. Anyway. But they're the ones that created the Afghani number one, and that became the basis for Cincy Seeds. Just like Neville, all of his used Northern Lights, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Cincy Seeds used Afghani number one, Afghani #1. They still sell it, I think. And then the West Coast, you have the British Columbia guys that they did their own thing.
Yeah, they had the Romulan.
Romulan Joe, yeah. And that whole Northern Lights. Oh, never mind. The Northern Lights group, I'll just leave it at that. What was it, 4, 7, 9, 11, something like that. Two of them were seeds and two of them were clone only. I don't remember the whole story. I don't really care, but yeah. And then what was his name? Shani Baba, the breeder that worked for Neville. Then he ended up with that clown over in Spain, the green. No, what was it? The king of cannabis.
Arjun.
Argent. Thank you. Greenhouse seeds. Was that it?
Yeah, greenhouse seeds.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Greenhouse
They
seeds.
were
Yeah.
with them at first and then he went independent.
Yeah, I know. It's that whole story, man. if anybody believes that these genetics were kept intact for 25 years through all the people that went to jail and, the whole story, if you believe that, you believe anything. Okay. We're talking about stoners in Amsterdam.
It's
I mean,
seed
let's
of
get
the
honest
seed
here.
of the seed of the seed of the seed.
Yeah, it's a good story. I mean, weed stories are, the difference between a war story and a weed story? Okay, a war story or a fairy tale and a weed story. A fairy tale starts out once upon a time, and a weed story starts out, now this is no shit. And I mean, some of these stories you just like, excuse
Oh
me?
shit, man.
You kept these genetics alive and moved them around to 3 different countries and 2 different continents, and you kept them all intact? Oh, okay. Good story.
What's your next breeding project?
I'm done.
I'm done.
Yeah. I don't want to fuck with it. I don't want to. I mean, it's a horse business here in the Northwest. I don't live in
Gorski
California,
got
so
the mad sciences project. He let cross everything that grew the best, plant back the seeds.
that's the intelligent way to do it because you can't believe shit when somebody tells you, "Oh no, these seeds are from," and they start their story. I know the guy who knew the guy that was the next door neighbor to the guy, and just on and on and on and on and on. You grow some seeds, you pick the best plants. If you like the effect, then you keep growing it and you reproduce it. It isn't
Uh,
this whole seed thing in cannabis today is a fucking joke. It's not as bad as the nutrient programs, but it's up there. Like
yeah, because
you're going to
people
grow better
chasing
plants
the
because
next flavor, but they don't have plant acclimated to their own climate.
right, and I mean they don't have any knowledge. I mean, a basic class in horticulture wouldn't hurt.
I think
Uh,
I think the effect that I get from the plant is gardening. It's a high that I get
Right.
walking foot around the plants, smelling the plants when they're in veg and smelling the plants when they're in flower, and then harvesting them and hanging them and just
Yep.
being
I
at
agree.
one with the nature and watching the different insects crawl all over the place, and the process from basically April to October is an amazing an effect that no one else can replicate by putting it in a pipe. It's
I
uh
know. I
it's a
agree.
it's full on nuance that is only cultured and harvested by giving it a try outside and not having to worry about paying an electric bill.
well, I think weeds brought a lot of people to growing a lot of other things too. That's the other good thing that has come out of it. A lot of
Yeah,
people
I know.
then
I know
then
this
take the
is
step and
sacri.
start. Oh, go
I
ahead.
know this is sacrilegious in cannabis, but let me explain a couple of things how it works in the real world with real plants. Um, Polyphenols are those compounds, different compounds created by plants that benefit the human body. Okay. For example, anthocyanin, which is the blue color. It's what makes blueberries blue, what makes purple carrots. Anyway, you get the idea. Okay. Well, there's some polyphenols that are actually insecticides. The plant produces that particular compound as an insecticide. So an occasional insect walking on the leaf of a plant triggers that response to create that pesticide. And same with fungi. And as a matter of fact, plants can take an existing, you guys call them terpenes or terpenoids, and they're all of them, including THC, are carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, period. And then the other one is only carbon and hydrogen, excuse me, carbon and hydrogen. It doesn't have an oxygen. I forget, terpenoid is one and then terpene is the other. Regardless, a plant, let's say it gets hit with an herbivore insect, a mite, if you will. It can take existing compounds, terpenes and terpenoids, and reconstruct them and turn them into pesticides. Okay, so this obsession, with guarding, that they see a bug, man, you got to get out the DDT and flamethrowers and go out there and, start doing battle.
I like the
You don't.
flamethrower.
Well, judging from some of the shit that they sell in the dispensaries, I mean, give me a break, $35, $40 an ounce in 2025, really? On the other hand, over 90% of sales are carts and pre-rolls. That's embarrassing. That isn't a cannabis culture.
What's embarrassing is the kids that can't even roll a joint these days. It's like, it's like, oh, well, there's been pre-rolls my whole life. And I'm like, what? Oh, yeah, and?
But they don't need to learn how to roll because it's already pre-roll. You can buy
Or
a
they
pack
got
of
or they got
pre-roll.
their little vape pen that they're hitting on.
Yeah.
The sucky baby.
I tried a vape pen a couple of months ago at a barbecue thing, one of our friends, and there was a guest there, and they had vape pens, and so they offered, I took a hit. I was laughing my ass. So this is it, It's like, wow. This is what's got you all excited. And then they start blabbering off the names. Well, no, this is made with, gelato, or no, this is made with Canadian butt hairs, or whatever the fucking.
Canadian butter? You can boost it?
Yeah.
Canadian butt hair. I don't know what I'm gonna. That's the one cross something. I don't know what it is yet. But.
Yeah. I mean, I've smoked some of my weed with people that are supposedly, really in the thing, really yada yada yada. And it's like being in a room with a bunch of high school girls giggling. It's funnier than shit to watch somebody get high for the first time. Carts and pre-rolls. Give me a break.
We don't have cart over here in my province.
Lucky you.
Dude, have you had yours? Have you had the one made into like a temple ball or any like dry?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
how does that, if I may, like how does that come out?
Should be illegal.
I
I wouldn't operate heavy machinery.
Well, like, come on, man, it should be illegal. I thought you were the advocate for it,
No, it's like alcohol is wonderful, but 150 proof rum isn't maybe a good idea for people who used to drinking wine spritzers. That's all, that kind of thing.
Nice.
So,
yeah. Did you happen to do it yourself, or did you have like a friend?
No,
Okay.
I did the temple ball stuff myself. So I physically, hand rubbed it in the balls in the palm of my hand with my thumb on the other hand. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fantastic. I just was wondering if you had gotten kind of, you know, because the flower look, I mean, that looks like an amazing flower plant, but it also, I was wondering if it could yield the heads for doing dry
Oh yeah.
sift, other
Yeah,
things.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you look at it, when it's done, Garth can tell you when it's finished. It looks like you took it and it was still whatever, you rolled it in sugar. It's that level of crystal. It's massive. And you can't take really big hits because this is as old school as it gets. This stuff expands like, it feels like ice picks in your chest. Like when you smoke really good hash,
Sure.
not the keef and the blonde shit. I mean the hardcore Pakistani, Afghani, uh, Nepalese temple ball, like you said. That kind of, it hits like that. I mean, I
Yeah.
have to laugh. Some of the shit they sell in dispensaries around here, and they call it hash. I mean, it's hysterical. I mean, talk about a bunch of crap. My God.
Yeah, it's like pull tab natty, I mean, like, there's Schlitz, there's
Hmm.
natural ice, there's processes to make really shitty alcohol that has a high alcohol content, and some people
Exactly.
they go and
Right.
get Yukon Jack and they have it in their back pocket while they're
Boy,
skiing,
there's
and it's a
boy,
good
there's
day.
a memory for me. I hadn't thought of that in 46 years. The last time I drank Yukon Jack, Jesus. Yeah, I was, man, I got really fucked up on that a couple of times, and
Sure.
then we started doing peyote. We cooked them in a pressure cooker, reconstituted them, and then we
Oh,
drank the tea. And then we took the reconstituted these big peyote buttons and flowers or bulbs, whatever, and chopped them up and started eating them. And this went on for like 4 days. And I didn't do psychedelics for 10 years after that. That was it. It was like it tipped the scales.
so you're drunker than a skunk, and then you fucking decided to eat peyote?
Yeah, a friend of mine, actually, this was his job. He worked for Whammo, the Frisbee company that made Frisbees. And this is, 46 years ago. He worked for Whammo as a Frisbee golf personality, promoter. He went around the country and as communities started putting in these Frisbee golf courses, and he would show up, and anyway, he'd been to New Mexico and hooked up with a friend, and he brought back a gunny sack that was about a third full of dried peyote
Oh,
buttons. So, I mean, we're talking massive amount, like almost like a 5-gallon paint bucket full of dried peyote. So we decided to see how far you could take it, and I didn't do that again for 10 years.
Wouldn't imagine.
I mean, but at the time, though, while you were, how long did that last?
Oh,
Several
Oh,
days?
we kept eating more and more. I mean, we did, we did it for 4 days straight. So started on a Thursday and finished on a Sunday.
Wow.
There were several people that came over. I was the only one that had the money to have a permanent residence kind of thing. Hippies and surfers, and not exactly 9-to-5ers. So, and everybody wasn't a grower then, so you didn't have all this free money coming in from growing dope. So, anyway,
No, that's fantastic. No, dude, I'm not. I think that's fascinating. I enjoy the story. I think that's pretty
wouldn't it
interesting.
will I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, I'd read it as a kid, literally a kid, like 16. Um, Huxley's Doors of Perception about his mescaline trips on one day, and I didn't quite understand a lot of it because I was 16. And so when I did this, I was closer to 30. and then the book made more sense. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, like really heavy questions like, wherein lies the Dharma body of the Buddha and things like that. I mean, really what you'd call, well, never mind. Anyway, so that kind of stuff.
Well, what?
And also, he was talking about in the book that he started having hallucinations. Here's the whole story about, okay, Huxley, the writer, the great writer. He wrote a book called Doors of Perception and the Gates of Heaven and Hell. And he was one of the great philosophers of the 20th century. He planned this out. He had his assistants in the room. They were in a country villa in England somewhere. And he took a rather, what I would consider, I think most people would, a pretty heavy dose of mescaline, which is just the extract from the peyote. And then he had these questions that he had written out that his assistants were to ask him these questions, and then they would write down his answers, and so he could go back and look at them after the experience. Does that follow?
Sure.
Okay, so he talks about in part of the book that he started hallucinating, and all the forms and shapes look like Aztec art. And later, I've heard other people that I had confidence in that weren't, trying to bullshit me, had that same experience. So I found that really fascinating. And it would make sense that the Aztecs would be taking all kinds of peyote buttons or and mushrooms and what have you, I mean.
Right.
So, like, for example, the magic mushrooms, cubensis, whatever you want to call it, it's been used for centuries, if not millennia, all around the world. But because somebody discovered it in is it Oaxaca?
The woman that was doing it, the studies. Yeah, Albert Hoffman was doing his LSD while the other guy was doing the mushrooms and had the.
No. Okay, Hoffman did create LSD.
Well, yeah, he discovered it, right?
Okay. Here's how it worked. Okay, the reason it's called LSD 25 is that he had created these rye seed molds and then had collected them. They're called ergos, ERGOT. Okay, and he had gone through 24 packs. He was working for Sandoz Laboratories as a researcher, whatever you want to call it. And they were looking for a cure for migraine headaches. And they'd gone through 24 and not found anything of value. And so he had put away several packs, and they were all numbered, 1 through whatever, how many it was. And so one Saturday night, on a rainy night, he's living in Switzerland, where Sandoz was based. He opened up LSD 25, and that was the beginning of the end. Later, when the mushrooms, 10 years later, 1951-52, it was discovered in Mexico, these mushrooms that had a psychoactive effect. Hoffman was called in by the World Health Organization. He's the one that gave the compounds the goddamn name, psilocybin and psilocin. So, I mean, to me, that's in 57. To me, that's mind-boggling. In a 15-year span, this is a man that identified LSD 25 and another compound, ALD 52. And then the actual compounds that were created in the mushrooms, the psilocybin, you got to look this up for it to make sense. You can find the comparison in psilocin. And your body has to deconstruct the psilocybin molecule to get rid of this arm, and it's the psilocin that actually has the effect. Does that make
Sure.
sense?
Yeah,
Think of it as a husk. As a
Yeah.
husk.
Yeah, the book LSD My Problem Child kind of
Oh
goes
yeah.
around. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a beautiful book.
Mhm.
Available on audiobook too.
Yeah, that's what I listened to it on my way to and from work.
Who recommended
I
it to
recommend
us?
that book to
It was,
everybody.
yeah, it was really
If
good.
you really want a hardcore scientific, I mean, Hoffman never intended, he wasn't trying to find the next thing that got everybody naked and dance to the Grateful Dead.
No,
I
that was
mean,
a
He's doing science. He's doing science.
Huh?
that was the Alphabet Boys fucking with that bullshit.
Now, what's really interesting to me from a plant scientist perspective, he graduated from the University of Cologne at the age of 22. I mean, that's nuts. Excuse me, at 18. And he was able to identify the chemical structure of chitin. And that gave birth to chitinase, which is, you probably know it as a pesticide. Chitin is also what's used in sewing up your mouth. Well, external and internal surgery. The thread is chitin. That's how he got hired by Sandoz. This was 1922. The guy was a genius, a real genius. And so he was working on projects that were real money makers. And migraine headache, you can imagine the revenue potential of a drug like that. And that's what they were looking for. Later in the Brotherhood, the BOEL that was responsible for the LSD 20, for the Orange Sunshine, specifically that one. At trial, here was their defense. We're charged with LSD 25, but we didn't use that, which was accurate. They actually used another compound that he had identified, ALD 52, because it was more stable and they could ship it around the world without it. Anyway, you get the idea. So that was their defense. And they were in federal court and that flew over not so well. Yeah.
It was worth a try.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think all that is very fascinating information. I was reading another book. It was about the canyon and
Yeah,
strange.
Laguna Canyon. Yeah.
It's in the canyon.
Yeah.
And it talks about the Beach Boys and Charles Manson and Jimi Hendrix and the list goes on and on of all these individuals that were involved with the Mamas and the Papas one was really interesting. And just the wildfire spread of all these psychotropic, psychedelic things and how they would bring it with them. And one of them, it was a different book. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it in the title it has CIA, and it talks about this drug called STP.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And
that was developed by CIA to incapacitate prisoners of war and for interrogation.
Yeah, and it was so strong. I like one of the admirals took it, or one of like someone in the military actually took it and talked about it at length. And it's just, I'm just like, fuck's sake. So for a while there, I was stunned and shell shocked, like, holy shit, all these people that I kind of was fascinated by, and actually I bought into the whole hippie movement and like peace and love, but it was almost constructed to disassemble the Vietnam conflict protesters to give them no legs to stand on, and have all these peace, love, flower-toting hippies kind of disassemble the protest.
Well, I lived through it. Here's my read. It can't possibly come as a surprise that young people would embrace something that advocated sex and drug use. I mean, that's kind of like, isn't that like universal? And that's what history's about? You're young, you party, you hook up, and you reproduce, right? I mean, that's the function of every organism on the planet, is to reproduce.
Yeah,
And now our parents just freaked out because, what do you mean you're not going to wear a bra? I mean, you're not going to shave, or I mean, this they got their apple cart. It's no different than my generation looking at, I don't even know, is it disease? Who's the latest generation? The 20-year-olds. What are we calling them?
Oh fuck, I don't know what the
Z's, I
generation.
believe. I believe they're Z's now. If I could be
Okay.
wrong on that. Chat, if anybody knows in chat, please chime in.
I mean, when I was more active in this thing, I used to get a lot of emails. Could you help me find a job working for, I want to grow, And no, I sure wouldn't. Why don't you do something constructive? But hey, think about this. The first year it went legal here, the very first year, when the crops were planted, the business model went basically like this. The return on correctly dried and processed buzz would be 2,400. Well, that's $1.50 a pound. That's a good return. And it's legal. You don't have, I mean, there's just a whole bunch of, it was a good deal. That year, it didn't even break 500. And it was 80% less than what they had, and you know how investors are. They don't hang around. Oh, this didn't work. Let's go invest in something else. They don't go, okay, well, let's try it again next year and see what happens. No. It doesn't work. I don't care what it is. We could be building widgets or, the next drink. And if it doesn't hit, then it didn't hit. I mean, that's, you move on to the next project. And because when the money that poured into this state, the year 6 months before it went legal, it was crazy. If you were making muffins that had hemp seed in it, you could find a backer. I mean, it was
Right.
And then the fertilizer crowd, they're always fun. I always my favorite is in the United States, I think they do Canada parts of, yeah, I know they do Canada. It's called Wilbur Ellis, and they're the biggest sourcer of fertilizers. If I can buy a commodity and it's $10 from Wilbur Ellis, why would I buy it from you for 50? Because you got a cool looking label on it.
The label sells.
No, I see how the labels play on certain people's minds though, because I talk to people that are newer at growing and they look at some cotton candy, some dude looking at a piece of cotton candy or some big titted chick that looks like a bombshell.
Yeah.
And she's on this thing and then you had talked about it before, but you look at some of the product and the water is not labeled as water. So
inert.
then they don't
Inert
understand.
ingredients. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. Like
Inert
they don't
ingredients.
understand that they're paying for basically 87% of it is water.
No, it's much higher. We're up around 98.
Yeah, I didn't want to rate.
Yeah,
But
it's lunacy.
yeah,
Basically, okay, let's say you had a gallon of product A, I don't want to get into that, okay. For the amount of actual active material, you could sell that in a marine eye dropper, you know what I'm talking about, eye drops.
yeah,
You could sell that and add that to a gallon of water and it would be the same shit. And you would still cut it. Okay. I mean,
So so with the regulations and laws that are going on with all of these things, how come they allow that to be so wasteful? And the containers that they come in, the plastic, I mean, it could
there's more
last.
money. Hey,
Yeah.
Gorsky, you can take my word on this. It costs more to have that. That's what do they call it? Not GBT. Anyway, it's okay. Like the keys on a keyboard, the best plastic, you pay more for that plastic. It's going to last longer. Okay. That's what they make, like all the products. I don't give a shit what name because it has that real luxury feel to it. There's more money in that fucking label and in that container than the ingredients that are in the bottle.
Oh yeah.
And here's how you can find out yourself. Okay, this is what's really great about this country. They'll change it, but okay, you need to get the product name that is sold under. Okay, exactly. And you type that into a search engine. And then you put a colon, okay? And then a space. And then you type MSDS. And then hit enter. And then you'll come up with the form that they filled out, the company. Here's what's in it. And so all these magical problems like the Terpinator or whatever the hell it was called. I mean, are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. So the material safety data, the MSDS,
Yes.
that should be in every the back of every
Every
kitchen,
product.
so you know what solvents you're using or whatever.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's correct. And when you start looking at like the one that I'm thinking of that was $900 when it came out, I was hysterical because I did that and it had alfalfa extract, some vitamin B12 or B1, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Anyway, and people they were clamoring for it because it had to be good. I mean, they wouldn't charge $900, right? No, of course not. I mean, there's integrity here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So how do you how do they excuse that, and how do they allow such a
it's free trade, man. Hey,
so
look, as long as it isn't poison, the USDA, they don't give a shit. You put it on the label and if people buy it, then hey, you know what? Shame on you. It's kind of like our food source, you know. I mean, if there's 20 ingredients and you can't pronounce 12 of them, you might want to look somewhere else.
No, I mean, I work at a grocery store, and basically I've joked around, I've kicked the idea around. I'm like, I might as well be selling drugs because I sell 90% poison. You know,
Right,
I
right.
work here in like people.
Sure.
I was talking to somebody about opening up a Chick-fil-A, a franchise. And then I was like, I don't think I'd like that. I don't think I'd like selling. Wait a second. I already sell poison. What's the fucking difference? I might as
Yep.
well put 10,000 towards a franchise and at least make my own fucking money, you
Yep.
know? So
I mean,
yeah,
some of the products are, all right, let me tell you one. So this isn't a modern one. It's an old one, but it's still around. And this illustrates it better than anything. In the late 30s, early 40s, I can't remember the gentleman's name. He invented a product and named it Super Thrive. It had the same label for the next 60 something years. Okay. And he never put on there what was in it. Okay. And then beginning in the 90s, a couple countries delisted it. First, I think New Zealand did, Japan did. And then in the late 90s, a few states, one of them was like Utah. I mean, I don't know what the fuck that was about. They're not exactly a hotbed of liberals, right? Um, anyway, so he never he won one award in his entire career, and he lived until like almost 2001. The only award he ever won was from the advertising arm of the American Horticulture Association. Advertising. Okay, then in the early 2000s, the federal government here went after him and said, look, either you list it or, and by this time he had died, and now the kids were in charge. And of course, they're not going to stop this gravy train over a fucking label. No problem. And so they had to print on there what was on it. And I mean, it's a joke, a fucking joke. But I still hear about people in the cannabis trade. Oh, you got to use Super Thrive, or you're just not going to have, the bouquet or the, I don't know, whatever. You got some line of bullshit, so. But yeah, any product, if you're looking at it, and all you gotta do is now with a cell phone, just, type that into your browser and start reading. And I mean, you're gonna laugh your ass. There used to be a product called SNS, Sierra Natural Science, and they had two products. And one was a pesticide, one was a fungicide. Okay. 99.2% water. With, okay, the pesticide used, is it rosemary? Yeah, rosemary extract. And the fungicide used thymol, which is the active a polyphenol from the thyme plant. And that's what used to be in Listerine when it first started back in the late 1800s. Okay, that's it. And they were selling this shit for like $175 a gallon. I mean, you can buy those like for $10 a bottle that'll make 10 gallons. Eyedroppers, little vials of any kind of plant extract. Liberty Naturals here in Oregon City, Oregon. I don't name a plant you've heard about using lavender, whatever. They use it in food manufacturing and everything. And yet somebody, and then put it in a nice bottle, put a cool label on it, and go on one of these weed shows and piss and moan about, how it saved your life the minute you start using it, and you'll sell the piss out of it.
Basically, they're a free market trade. They're going to sell you
Absolutely.
diamonds forever, and they're not going to tell you that they have so many diamonds that they could drown you in them.
Right.
And they're not worth dick. Or you're going to buy a pet rock, or you're going to buy a spinner,
and they're going to
waste your money on whatever the fuck is for sale.
What's to me even funnier is in the last several days, and I don't follow this shit, so I couldn't tell you, maybe it's older than this, but the news broke, or they recycled it or something, about these 28, 30, 40, $50,000 handbags from
Dude, I'm about to lose my shit. And they still said that they were $10,000, so you could save $40,000. And I looked at the materials, and I'm like, maybe that's a couple $100 worth of material.
Really fine leather or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
Well, as one person pointed out, okay, so Hermes, they sell themselves as craftsmen 4 years before you're allowed to work on your own. You have to work under a master for 4 years, and you're only allowed to buy one a year. Okay. I mean, you can't make this shit up.
The Burka bag.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
okay, that's the one.
Yeah, and I saw the video of this man of a certain descent in a certain country in a certain factory talking about how he could undercut them, and this is the factory that makes them, and if you want them direct from them instead of having the name of the company on the bag, and let's just say it was sold for $50,000, he would sell it to you for $10,000. And I was just thinking, what the fuck kind of program is this where it might be $10 worth of leather, but like what is, and people were reposting this video enough to say that we found like the magic wand of designer bags now because we can get it for so much cheaper. And I'm still thinking it's too expensive.
Hey, look, don't even get me going.
A fool and their money is soon parted.
Yes, well, just for that, I mean, an influencer, what does that even mean? I mean,
It irritates me.
yeah, I guess, but whatever. Um, but it's okay. Think about this. Let's look at Italian racing cars just for a minute.
Sure.
Now, I'm going to, before I say this, I'm going to say, like, you don't want to own one, regardless of the price, because they're a pain in the ass to maintain. I mean, the Italians haven't been able to keep a government in power longer than a year since the end of World War II. Okay. So, but anyway, Lamborghini, Ferrari, well, okay. It isn't just because they cost, oh, Maserati. Just because they might cost $750,000 doesn't make them worth $750,000. It's bragging rights because those kind of cars, the minute you sign the paper and get in and pull out of the lot, you lost 20%.
Sure.
So this is strictly an ego thing. It has nothing to do with okay.
Oh, yeah. No, there was a
Yeah.
video that this guy I was watching, and he's like calling, but he has his own body shop. He has his own lift. He can do his own stuff. He just was calling to price out how much it would cost for an oil change for his Ferrari. And it was 35.
7,000.
Yeah, it was $3,500 to get an oil change. But yeah, maybe it was a different model. Maybe it was the
Yeah,
poor man.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, and there's what was it? 8 different spots where the oil is drained from the car. It's not just a regular oil pan. And you
Well,
have to like,
let's talk Tesla. I love this one. Okay. I don't know what kind of drugs they do at Tesla to come up with that Cybertruck. But this took a lot of effort. Okay. And the fact that, I'm going to be off of the numbers, so I don't want to do that, but I know it's over 40%. If you bought one, you already lost 40% of what you paid for it. Okay. And now every one of them has been recalled because some of the panels are glued on. I mean, you're building a refrigerator and putting tires on it, okay, and you're gonna glue it together. I
The
mean,
aluminum frame that breaks if you put any form of trailer on it, like
exactly. Oh my God.
not only is it that, but dude, I walk by, we have a couple of Tesla stations here, and I walk by, and there's a woman and a man and a dog in that Faraday cage just cooking like they're in a fucking microwave, dude. And they don't know any better. Like all those free radicals just bouncing around in the car while they're looking at the computer screen, just hanging out for 30 to 40 minutes, getting cooked. Like, I don't get it.
The only time I was in a Tesla was 9 years ago. And it doesn't matter. Anyway, this guy had whatever the latest model was in 2016. Okay.
Sure.
I'm a real hardcore iPad enthusiast. I love it. The form factor, and blah blah blah. So he's got this. Hold on a minute.
How's your seedlings doing, Wes?
Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. I lost a couple of the Jack the Rippers there. They just kind of wilted out, and they didn't have the strength to go on. Couple of them went down, but the rest of them are doing well. Everything else is doing quite well.
Nice.
Anyway, so this guy, he was gonna invest in the emerging cannabis thing, whatever, the legal thing. And so I spent maybe 2 or 3 days taking him around to different, showing him the lay of the land, whatever. And he had this screen in this Tesla that was bigger than my iPad. And I had the iPad Pro. And I thought, I was sitting in the passenger seat, and him fucking with it constantly. And just like, drive the fucking car.
It drives itself, bro.
Yeah, right. I hate to sound like an old curmudgeon, but really? I mean, this is design aesthetics. I don't know.
It's I guess what captivates people that do drive it. There's no need for a TV or anything else to distract you. So certain individuals really like those cars so much they'll sit in them while they're charging. It just takes away their life force. They're traveling somewhere. They need to make sure that they travel somewhere that has a station, and when they get to the station, they might sit in there for an extra couple of minutes because they're captivated by what's inside the car. And then
one of my favorite phrases is when I hear people a lot too many people whine about their lives, and it's like first world problems. Most of the people in this world are trying to find enough wood that day to cook some gruel for their family. I mean, give me a fucking break. Like, well, I'm not going to be able to buy my kid $5 for Christmas. No, So, yeah.
Definitely forget how good we have it.
So what was the last batch of seeds that you made? Because you said you're not going to make any more.
We took the
one.
TO, Pacalolo one. The reason is, I know you're supposed to, or not supposed to, but traditionally you put the female's name first in the name, right? And the one Pacalolo didn't make any sense. So we just went with Pacalolo one. But anyway, the Pacalolo was a multi-sativa created by friends back in the early 80s. And then, anyway, it had, let's see, lamb's bread, Thai, Sri Lanka. Today, you know it as Ceylon, or maybe the other way around. Ceylon, now it's Sri Lanka. Yes, yeah. I'm really stoned right now. But anyway, yeah, so multi sativa mix. And they had been growing it for decades, replenishing the seed supply. So anyway, it's a good cross. So you ended up with a cross that has two different Highland Thai relatives, or whatever you want to call it, contributors. So that's pretty cool.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. What's that?
Oh, I'm saying, Wes, were you saying you were growing it, or?
What I'm growing is I'm growing a back cross of it. So somebody Jeeves took the Pacalolo and crossed it back to the one. He whose name I will not utter. Uh, he
That's the way to do
told,
it. You're going to get really good results. I mean, back crossing that is can give you a really good foundation. And
yeah, I think
yeah,
so. It's three quarters. It's three quarters the one, and it's
Yeah.
got the Pacalolo in there. So some you might find some in the F2s. You might find some interesting stuff that shows up.
and heavy yields. I mean, we were doing some
Yep.
plants in 800-gallon containers with what was it Fox Farm Ocean Forest soil. No, I'm just joking. We were using my soil mix, and yeah, not even counting the minor shit for making whatever. I don't give a shit about that. Yeah, it was 10.5 pounds of manicured buds. So by
Off of
any metric, huh? Yeah.
in your 1,000 gallon?
800, which is
Oh,
4 cubic yards
yeah.
or meters, depending what part of the world you're in.
So doing it small, right?
Yeah. See, I live yeah, in Oregon. We don't have plant count commercially. Square footage, baby.
That's
So
beautiful.
stack it deep and then charge it cheap, man. That's why you get pounds. I mean, shit. If you let's say you're a really good grower and you're doing a good job, not bringing moldy shit and it's got to be remediated, all these other bullshit words.
Might be
If
able
you
to
get
stand it out.
$300, man, you're dancing. You're fucking dancing. Hey, the days of getting, 1,600, 2,000, man, fuck. Good luck. No, this is business. And the guys with the laptops and loafers and the car that daddy bought when they were in college, they took over. Just the most annoying motherfuckers on the face of the earth. Just the carnival salesmen that haven't, got a pot gut yet. So
Yeah, man.
working the ride at the county fair. Yeah. So there's no cannabis culture, man. Give me a break.
Oh, not anymore.
It's in your heart, dude. You don't need a culture.
I know.
I mean,
I know.
I
But
I find it fascinating to be able to reflect on my last couple of grows and be able to speak with people like you that were in it to win it way back in the day with shipping containers and fucking boats, bro.
yeah.
It's fascinating to kind of like understand where we've come. But I I and I dare I say it, when it became legal, it
It got
changed.
fucked up. Who knew
Yeah.
that legalizing it would kill
Ruin
it?
it. Would ruin it.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
just destroy. Hey, look,
drastically. I mean, there's still
this
some
shit,
bit of it
this
out there.
shit at the dispensaries,
I
this
smell
shit
the
at the
gross.
dispensaries is just pure garbage. I mean,
Yeah,
to use an old '60s expression, it wouldn't get a fly high. I
yeah.
mean,
It's
you know,
unfortunate.
it just,
I was
oh man.
I was with somebody who was 11 years younger than me, and they would stop off and get smalls or little buds and stuff, and it was funny for me. Like I said, I'm not even joking around. The high for me is being with the plant and growing it and incorporating my time with cultivating the cannabis. I don't really smoke it that much anymore. I just I don't want to be put into a world of thinking because I'm still. Yesterday was the anniversary of my son having an accident and passing away at the age of 3. So, and then I'm not to bring us down here like Debbie Downer, but I'm just giving you reference. And I'm going through a divorce, so I don't really feel like smoking weed right now. but I still
No, I did.
Oh, I
I,
hear
st-
you.
I still grow it, and I started breeding chickens. So now I'm breeding chickens and making seeds for canna, and it's some of the most relaxing, therapeutic things that I can do for myself.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, I lost my son when I was 30, and he was 6.
yeah, and
Um,
yeah,
it's yeah, there's no easy answers. Um,
yep,
yeah, that's all I can
yeah,
say.
yeah. It's just one of those things where I think when you say there's no culture, I think I get it. I enjoy this time here on this channel, on this platform, and when you're on, it's fucking hilarious, man. I enjoy it so much because you bring so much knowledge to the table, and I have a great time with Wes and his sense of humor. Fucking, it's interesting.
Wes, I met Wes on another program a few years ago, and yeah, he's
Yeah,
just
you should not be named.
to laugh my ass off, man. Yeah. So,
Yeah, there's
um, I don't, I love plants. I love gardening. I love studying soil, the whole
yep,
nine yards, all of it. Um, I like teaching others. If nothing else, just save them some fucking money. If you want to grow shit, I can show you how to grow shit and not pay anything. I mean, really, seriously. If you want to grow shit, here's what you do. I'm going to talk to, well, they have these up there in Canada too. Just go to your Home Depot or your Walmart or your Target, whatever, it doesn't matter, and get a bag of soap. Buy the cheapest shit you can fucking find. Okay. What am I going to do for a new program? Stay in the store, don't go anywhere. Just walk over to the bottle shit and get some Miracle Grow. It doesn't matter. Buy any of them. It doesn't fucking matter. It's the same shit. Read a label. Hold them up side by side, and compare them. There's no fucking difference. You
yeah,
got some ammonium nitrate. You got some phosphoric acid. You got some, I mean, I could sit here and do this, just go down the whole fucking list.
sure.
And there you go. Now you're growing synthetically, and you can tell people that you're growing the best weed possible, and you didn't pay anything for it. Or you can go and buy Advent and just get bent over the hood of the car and holding on tightly to a big jar of glycerin and lube, because you're going to need it. By the time you get done with those cocksuckers, what you got $400 or $500 in bottles of shit, and then you got something to put on your phone so you can read. When am I supposed to do the what now? Yeah,
Yeah,
read a label. Read a label. That's my advice. Read a label.
it
And
was
if you don't
I
know, then
probably 3 years ago when you were talking to Steve on Potent Ponics, and you were talking about mushrooms.com, and you were
yeah,
talking about growing and talking about soil. I mean, for a while now, it's clicked, and I understand. When you were saying a while back, even more, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, because when you were on, I think it was a 2-part with Tad on Kiss,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
yeah.
That,
Well,
dude, that's
it's funny. Let me tell you
that's the
about
one
that
that changed
interview.
growing for me. I was
Yeah,
Let
on
me
the
tell you about
news.
that.
when it was the
Let me
two
tell,
part.
yeah, let me tell you about that interview. So Tad calls me at this point in time and tells me he's going to start this podcast thingy. I said, let's go. And he said, I want to do an interview. I said, yeah, that's cool. So we did that in one setting. And then he said, I'll edit it and then, publish it or post it, whatever you do. Well, that was about the time there was this clown running around and he was the latest darling of the cannabis scene, and he went by the name of Scotty Granola. I mean, if you can't come up with a better name than Scotty Granola, uh, find a new line of work, okay? And he decided that he was, going to prove that, he came up with all kinds of stupid shit, like if you put barley in your soil, it will cause microbial uh, collapse. Yeah, what does that mean? Well, and he had it was on Future Cannabis Project constantly, and just anyway.
Billionaire.
Right.
Oh, what a fucking idiot. Um, so
Back
I
to
had
Tad.
confidence I had known Tad from the really old days before all the social media outlets and what have you. There was forums, and there
Right.
was the really big one was what's his name? Gypsy Nirvana. I'd love to see the birth certificate on that one. Gypsy Nirvana. And he had a place on the internet called IC Mag, International Canographic Magazine, that was never published. There was never a copy of IC Mag printed, but anyway. And within that portal, he had two seed companies, the Seed Bank. Oh no, I'm sorry, the Seed Bay. Yeah, okay. And that one was somebody said, well, I got a pack of, the Gemini enema seeds. And then people would bid on it, like eBay, and some of the numbers, these classic seeds or whatever, that who knows what was in it. I mean, you're going to trust somebody you never met because they told you it was something? Wow, you were really fucking stupid. But I mean, I saw one night, and who knows, maybe the whole thing was staged just to get people bidding. But a pack of something.
I've seen
the
some
Brothers Grimm.
I've seen some capulator seeds go for a couple thousand a pack.
Yeah, it was it was something from the Brothers
It's
Grimm
pretty.
seeds.
It can get ridiculous. Like
Yeah,
Brother.
when
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I mean, these guys come and go. So anyway, back to the Tad. So anyway, I ripped into this whole group of people that was loved and admired by the cannabis community that I could give a fuck less about, and said so. And so when Tad published the goddamn interview, he took out all the good stuff. So I mean, he really did the hardcore edit on it, and anyway, it was pretty funny.
Get another interview to get an actual the content without you pulling.
Yeah, I did.
No,
what was it? Jeremy at Build a Soul. He did one with me a couple of years ago. God, it was like hour and 45 minutes. It was straight. He didn't edit at all. I mean,
but
if I was going to show him my ass, he was going to give me the venue, kind of thing. So, yeah.
The Tad Hussey one was the one that changed my perspective on understanding. Because at the time you had said if anybody wants the cut, they got to come get it. I'm not going to ship it, but I'll give it to them. I'll give it out.
Yeah.
And I was just flabbergasted with all the things that I was taught to do or that I gleaned off the internet, and I thought that I was doing a good job. And then I realized, when you had said, if you really want to grow good stuff, grow good soil first. It's going to take you about a year to get good soil. And if you get a worm bin and you get
you're there.
Really good at
you
that.
You get a worm bin and you're there.
Yeah. And I thought the worm map was fascinating because it was just, if you have perfect conditions, if you have a pound of worms, by the end of the year, you'll have 1,000 pounds or what did you, something, what was it? I'm sorry, I'm off on the math. But how many?
No, 500, yeah.
500?
I mean, I mean, okay, here's your reproduction rate. Every worm, a mature worm, which has a life expectancy of about 4.5 to 5 years, never sleeps, 24/7. They eat the poop of bacteria. Bacteria deconstruct organic matter. That creates a sludge, right? Or a slime, and the worms ingest the slime and mix with enzymes that it produces, and the enzymes that are anyway. You get the idea, and that gives you then worm castings. And it used to be, before agriculture got as fucked up in this country as it did, when looking at farmland, they would dig out a cubic foot of soil, put it on a tarp, and then count the number of worms in it. Because the more worms you have, the more available compounds, the elements, your phosphorus, your nitrogen, and blah, 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 are going to be available to the plant. Not the label on the bottle, not about some asshole at was it Canacon, which I think is a perfect name. You're gonna be conned if you go there, Yeah. So, but worms are at the core of everything on this planet in terms of real soil. What cannabis growers use isn't soil. It's a fucking joke. I mean, if you're going to do that, then do it right. Do it Rockwell cubes. Put it on non-recovery. So that's what they do in commercial greenhouses. Not dicking around with somebody, advent. I mean, who's going to pay that if you're growing tomatoes? You don't make that much money on tomatoes. They have a captive market, so they have prices that are just astounding. I used to publish all this shit. I mean, I gave the addresses and information about where you can go get a label off the best stuff you can possibly think of, whatever product that is. I don't care, and get the list on it, and you could go to this company and buy it. Fix it yourself. Download the MSDS. There's your numbers. You need this much of this much of that. It's not rocket science, man. It's fucking fertilizer.
Yeah, I just it's deep around here. The neighbors that I have and the people, they're trying to grow things, and they look at me like I have three heads, because I mean, you really did inspire me to kind of look into the whole understanding of it, and then I started to go deeper and find a few more podcasts with natural farmers or natural no-till farmers, and
Yeah.
because I want to do production on other product, like anything in general. It doesn't really matter. You could pick one, and I'm trying to grow it. But when I talk to my neighbors or friends or other people, the first thing they want to do is rip through and till everything. And the next thing they want to do is burn everything. And like around here, they burn the shit out of the ground. Like, so you'll drive
That's
to work.
fungicide, yeah.
40 acres of property on fire. It's because they're burning all the weeds first. What's your thoughts on when they do that whole burning before they grow anything? Is there any benefit to that?
No, because if you're using chemicals, it doesn't matter what you do. See, if you're just going to use if you're going to burn, then you're just going to basically, not from an actual definition, but you're sterilizing the soil. And so then you're going to put chemical newts, I mean, think about this for a minute. Most fertilizers adhere to the law of minimums. So there's basically, next time you're in a garden center, just get a bottle of whatever off the shelf, and you'll count about 16 elements in there, the law of minimums. you take a plant that the marine algae, kelp, like Nova Scotia kelp meal, it accumulates 83 elements. So when we put kelp meal into our soils, we're not only adding every element that plants use, they're in the right proportion because it came from a plant. See the difference? Whereas with
Sure.
law of minimums, you're going to hit it. We got to hit it with some ammonium nitrate. Got to get the nitrogen in there, right? Going to hit it with some phosphoric acid. Got to get the phosphorus in there, and then soluble potash. Look that one up sometime. What that actually means, soluble potash. Okay, so we got the big three. Now we'll throw in some micronutrients. What's really hot now? Oh, okay, yeah. Put this on the label. Oh, yeah. See what I mean?
Yeah.
And can you grow a plant? Sure, you're going to grow a plant. You will grow a plant. It won't be a good plant. If you grow tomatoes like that, that isn't a good tomato, is it? If you went down and got some Miracle Grow and some Walmart potting soil, but you grow it in real soil with that's living, that has microbes and stuff crawling around, and they shit on the plants and they feed it's just there's a cycle there. There's a process. And that can't be replaced by a good looking bottle that's got a chick with big tits on it on the label.
But those big tits make my buds taste so good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I guess some people were joking around because they could tell what nutrients people were feeding their plants if they were using bat guano or if they were using sweet nutrients or some other types of
Hey,
sugars.
Gursky, trust me on this one. You can get stoners to believe fucking anything.
Oh man, I would have argued with you about how good General Hydroponics was. I was 16 bottles deep.
Oh,
Oh, I
what's
had the
funny,
whole
it's
line.
okay. I'm old enough to remember when every one of those companies came on the scene. Okay, and here's what's really funny. One of the very, very first one was a company out of the Bay Area in California called Dynagrow, and they had Dyna Bloom, and then later they would add several products. Okay, long about 1989, there was a bust of every grocery store in the United States on a specific Thursday, Operation Green Merchant, put on by the DEA, and every grocery store in the United States got hit. Okay, Dynagrow decided, because they were owned by business people, they weren't stoners, okay? They decided that they were going to go legit, and they did. They got into the orchid community. You go to an orchid show, and it looks like it's an advertisement for Dynagrow products. I mean, those people like hold it in such reverence. Okay, when you start looking at the label and Dynagrow is a good product. I tell people all the time, if you're going to use chemicals, then just use Dynagrow. You don't have to go to a grocery store and deal with those pieces of human garbage. You just go down to your local Walmart or whatever, and buy it and get it cheap. So Dynagrow is the only one left out of all those originals, like General Hydroponics. They're gone. I think, I mean, because they all started here in Seattle and Portland. This was the epicenter of the indoor thing because of our weather patterns here. And we had old houses that had basements. That's where the whole indoor thing got started, was here in the Northwest. There was the culture because Oregon had already passed hey, don't fuck with kids. You could have an ounce and it was only $100 fine. Wasn't even a misdemeanor. It was like a parking ticket. You don't think that didn't fill up the colleges during the Vietnam War? I can go to Oregon, go to college, stay out of the war, and smoke weed. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's how
Yeah.
the
Yep,
whole
the VW buses were cruising
yeah, yeah.
cruising west.
Go watch Animal House. That was Oregon. I mean, they filmed that right down here in Eugene at University of Oregon. But anyway, back to
What
if you
Taz did.
if a person doesn't want to fuck with I get that. I get that. Hey, all I want to do is water my plants and I want some weed. I get that. Then all I would say to them is just go buy the cheapest shit you can get. It's all the same and save some money. Don't listen to these assholes. I mean, that's why they never want me on a program with one of them selling something. What do you mean you can't tell me the difference between seaweed extract and kelp meal? Okay.
So it's basically people not understanding, like if they just start with the soil first and they really want to grow the greatest thing, that all they have to do is water. If they just started with the worms and the soil and got like a worm bin, then they could in about a year they could have some of the greatest water only cannabis.
Oh, I didn't have
If they
worms. Okay. Okay, worms are hermaphrodites, but it takes two to tangle. Okay, so once, excuse me, 2.3 times a week, a worm aligns with another worm, and they exchange body fluids. And then within a day or two, they release 2 to 4 cocoons.
Now, do each
And
of them
each,
release a cocoon?
huh?
Do each of
Yes,
them,
but
because when the two of them pass, right? Then they
yes,
fertilize
which
each
is
other. They, they
yes,
they both lay 2 to 4 cocoons. Wow.
yes.
wait,
Okay,
so
That's
they
now
can
eat.
so they can be a male and a female, but both the male and the female lay eggs?
Well, they're not male or female; they're hermaphrodites, meaning
So
they have the sex
they're the same.
organs of both sexes. So anyway, that's how they reproduce, and then each cocoon will contain. I could be wrong on this one. I think it's like 2.4 hatchlings. Okay,
sure.
so now start thinking about the volume here. Let's say you start with 100 worms. Okay, now those hatchlings will be sexually mature within 6 weeks, 42 days, basically. And then they start reproducing for the next 4.5 years at that same rate. So as long as you keep the conditions in the worm bin optimum, like don't put fruit in there, okay? I mean, the water, fruit's like over 90% water. Too much water, worms breathe through their skins. There's too much water in the bedding, they suffocate and die. Then you got smell. God damn,
Yeah.
that worm bin really stinks. A real good worm bin, you don't smell anything. It has absolutely no aromas or odors. Yeah, it's really
So
simple to do. I mean,
if
setting
I
up a
got a
worm bin.
yep. And then I want to put like what, a bag of soil in there first, then I want to put the worms, then I want to put what do I want to put in there for the optimal food?
Okay, if all right, I would say like you're going to mix soil. Start with some sphagnum only, sphagnum peat moss, and that will make up your bedding. Okay, and to that you would then put in. I like adding basalt, rock dust a little bit, and then but you need some aeration. I like using pumice, but depending where you're at, pumice may not be available. So if you want, you could use perlite. understand also that most perlite never sees soil that's made in this country. And you're going to think I'm kidding you, but I'm not. There's actually an organization online called the Perlite Institute. And if you'll go there and you can search in your area of the producers of perlite, because they use it in construction in concrete. They mix it with the concrete when it's wet, and it gives potential strength, but also I'm not a civil engineer, but I know that perlite's used in, and it comes
Probably
in all
lightens
kinds
it
of
up a fair
sizes.
bit.
Sure.
Okay.
Probably lightens up.
So there you go. There's your base. And if you're going to put in things like food in the kitchen, I know it sounds really groovy. I want to take the stuff out of my kitchen. I'm going to dump it on my pile. That's not what you want to do. You need to take two paint buckets. Okay. The kind, they fit one inside the other. And in the top one, you want to drill a lot of drain holes in the bottom. And you put that in the sleeve of the other one. And now you load in your kitchen stuff and you let it break down and it'll release the water. Now you've got material. Worms can't process water, but they can take the remnants or the sludge, whatever you want to call it, and you spread that out over the top of your bin, and now they can process it.
Okay, but it almost is better to just have like earth ingredients than food scraps and just save your food scraps for a compost pile and let that windrow for a year.
Perfect. Perfect. The more compost that you can feed your worm bin, the
Sure.
better quality castings you're going to get.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
it's
Okay.
microbial, it's the microbe levels in the compost are in the extreme, which adds to the efficiency in the worm bin of the worms processing and turning that composted material into basically worm poop.
Yeah. That's one of my things that I would love to do is redirect the waste from the restaurants, because there's some type of incentive to do that. One of the guys around here,
Sure.
he got a
Yes.
bunch of grants and now he has a
Right.
company that makes compost from the
Right.
restaurants. And I was trying to help him understand that if he took that compost after a year, he could feed it to worms and then he could sell worm castings and he could just be off to the races, because the amount of compost that he creates every year, he could have a worm business as well with all the food that he has, and he could actually make the compost even better than just having food scraps sitting for a year.
Okay, do this. I can't remember the name of the book, but I know the author's name, Rhonda Sherman. She's at the University of North Carolina. She's one of the top vermiculture experts in the world. She has a book for small to medium size worm operations. And I won't bore you with the details, but get a copy of that book. It's well worth it.
Okay.
That'll
That's
explain
great.
a bit of Rhonda Sherman. And she and I were on a couple of future Cannabis project programs. So talking about some
That's
really
fantastic.
big worm
Worm.
operations.
The Worm Farmer's Handbook.
That's it. That's it.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Wes. Appreciate that.
It's a really good book. She's really very nice woman.
That's
And
fantastic. I'm
yeah.
glad to hear it, because I know that you wouldn't pull any punches if she was full of shit.
No. She's my teacher, you know.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
she knows a lot more than I do, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoy the whole process.
With that book, a person could take and implement those processes that she outlines very, very well. Because that's what she does at North Carolina, the University of North Carolina, is she helps people become farms become more self-sufficient, sustainable agriculture.
Yeah, I would. Oh, go ahead.
No, she can show you how to set up to turn it into a commercial business. And we're not talking a great volume of money to do it. Hey, because look, if you hook up with a good dairy, you can get the manure for free. If you got cow manure, you're dancing. You
Okay,
don't want to
because
fuck with pig manure.
my neighbors have a bunch of cows, and a bunch of my neighbors have a bunch of horses, and I know that you
Horseman,
need to horse manure sit
no,
for a year because of the dewormer.
no, it's not. How long?
A year?
No, 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, okay, okay. My apologies.
Absolutely. Now, what you do have to do, or you want to do, sunlight deconstructs it. So you're going to want to get out there and turn it with a pitchfork. You know what to do, just like you do a compost pile, and keep it, keep it churned. But yeah, you're ready to go. 4 weeks is probably enough. I'd like to err on the side of caution, so go 6 weeks.
Okay.
Now, once you've done that, now it's ready to compost. Okay. So now you would do the
Mesophilic or
mix it with some nitrogen. Use alfalfa is good, inexpensive. Anyway, Timothy grass, you need a legume. Okay, legume kickstarts the composting process, and it's going to ramp up to like 140 degrees Fahrenheit. You'll need a compost thermometer. Okay, that's called the thermophilic cycle. Now you start letting it drop down, and when it hits below 100 Fahrenheit, say 95, now we're in the mesophilic cycle. Now is when you start adding fertilizers. I mean, things that are legitimate fertilizers, not bottles of bullshit, like some alfalfa meal, some seaweed kelp meal. All those things are going to release their nutrients and increase the microbial colonies. That makes sense? So now, when you get done with that, you could use that if that's what you wanted to do. It would be, you would have some really, really, really good soil. You could also take a portion of it and use that to build your worm pile. So you're starting with something that's really got high levels of nutrients and microbes. And now it makes that process go that much faster and more thorough in the worm bin. Now you're talking. Now you're talking about growing like big plants, healthy. You're not out there dicking around.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's what I love that conversation because it gets me so charmed with the process in general because it's all natural, God-given ingredients that you can just kind of incorporate into your fun lifestyle of gardening and make some really nutrient dense plants.
Do you live in an area that has Tractor Supply stores
Oh
or
yeah,
farm
man.
stores?
Tractor Supply is maybe 40 minutes to an hour away, but we have Murdoch's. But
Okay, it doesn't matter. You don't want to talk about that kind of. Make them your friend, because if you use
yeah,
farm foods like alfalfa meal, you're not going to pay a ton of money buying it that way. If you go to a grocery, you're just saying, "Hey, I want to pay 3 times what I'm supposed to." I mean, let me give you an example.
the can attacks on anything if they think that you're cultivating the weed,
Okay,
man. You pay
okay,
the
okay. Here's one for you: calcium carbonate. You call it limestone. How's that? Or what do you call it? Crab meal. Okay, what you're wanting there is the calcium carbonate. And that it does, anyway, it doesn't matter. So let's say you buy a 5 pound box from Down to Earth, the brand. Okay, they're going to charge you like $10, maybe $11 for a 5 or 6 pound box, whatever it is. Or you could go to a feed store and you could buy a whole 50-pound bag for about $12 for the same brand. Okay, and calcium carbonate was created millions of years ago, so it really doesn't fucking matter where they dug it up. Okay, that's
So
just an example. That's
yeah,
just an
yeah,
example.
the Tractor Supply store or the brewer's store for the barley and for the
Yep,
brewers, right?
yep. That's a good thing to add. And you back to your compost. So after you've what the reason that you let the compost go up to 140 is to kill off pathogens. Okay, the reality though is that you're killing good and bad. You're sterilizing it. That's okay, that's a good thing. It isn't necessary, but because there's also cold composting, but I don't want to get into that. Okay, so now you've composted it and you've wiped it out. So in the mesophilic, when you let it cool down below 100 degrees, you're rebuilding that whole microbial colonies. Does that make sense?
It sure does.
Okay, now that we've done that, now look up cold composting. And I can make the argument that you're going to end up with a better soil using cold composting. The reason that we do thermophilic composting is because oftentimes we're dealing with some real crap soil to begin with. It kind of depends on how you're starting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you're using better ingredients, it really isn't necessary. You might have to deal with some smells. I mean, I can make an argument both ways, but if I have my own druthers and things were in the right conditions, I'd go for cold. Because that's really microbial alive. Have you ever gone out in the forest and seen piles of leaves that are half composted? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was last year I got some soil. I only took a little bit, but I wanted to take some raspberry plants that were growing
Uh-huh.
near some pine trees and some other the leaves
Mhm.
had already fallen for years, I bet, but the soil was like chocolate cake and it was a
There you
beautiful
go.
soil with wild raspberries growing in it. So I took that and I brought it inside because I wanted it to live through the winter, and it started
Hmm.
growing raspberry bush, and then I grew some canna with it. And
Hmm.
yeah, the soil complexity was night and day compared to where I am. It was a bunch of fucking rocks, cow shit, and gravel. And then you
Hmm.
go a little bit higher up into the forest, and the soil is just fucking amazing.
Yep.
Anything grows, you know. So yeah,
True
I
forest.
a little bit from nature.
Okay, okay, then I gotta go. I gotta tell you guys a funny one. So in several years ago, a saw became popular called the Fox Farm Ocean Forest. And you were a real asshole if you didn't use this stuff because it was like it had stuff from the ocean, man. Okay, so here's how they got the name. For the ocean part, they added something really
Oyster.
bullshit.
It has
Oh, crab
oyster
meal. A little bit of
crab.
crab meal. Okay, so there's the ocean. And the forest. Now understand that there is no legal definition for the word compost. Okay? There's no standards.
like soil. What is soil?
It's whatever you want it to fucking be. Yeah, it's like good sex. Okay. For the forest part, they used, you ready for this? Composted redwood. Now, look up a redwood forest and you'll notice something. You have these big giant trees, right?
Yeah.
But there's nothing in between. That's because the tree puts out exudes that kill plants so they're not in competition with them. Why in the fuck would you want to put that in your potting soil? And what universe would you want to use? Don't you buy redwood and build furniture out of it because it's impervious to bugs, right? It doesn't. Well,
It
that means
has
it's
to be. It's
got.
been around forever.
It doesn't that mean that you're adding pesticides? I don't give a shit if they're natural
Naturally
or
occurring.
otherwise. A pesticide's a pesticide, right? Or a fungicide. I mean, are you kidding me? And then you're gonna slobber and drool about. I remember going on a forum before social media. We did forums, right? And it was based in England, 420.com, some shit like that, right? And there was some dickhead in some city in England wanted to know what it would cost to air freight Fox Farm Ocean Forest to England. Are you out of your fucking mind? I mean, it's all about brands, isn't it? It doesn't matter what it is. It's the brand is more important than the
Gotta
real
grow the
deal.
dank.
The
You
dank,
gotta
man.
have the fox farm to get the dank, man. That's
Yeah. Tiger Bloom and what was some of the other names? Cha-ching and the feeding chart. That's the other one I liked in those companies. They gave you a feeding
oh
chart
man, yeah.
on Tuesdays. You're supposed to do this, and Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm all about building your soil, and then all you gotta do is water it. The rest of the
Yeah, my life
bullshit
got
is.
I got a lot of my life back when I gave up hydroponics. That's for sure.
I hate it. I
Oh,
started
I was
that.
in there.
Don't laugh. Okay, in the '80s, into the '80s, when the grocery store started here. Okay, you were a dickhead if you didn't do hydroponics. I mean, that's all there was to it.
Well,
Okay,
it seemed like the more scientific thing at the time. It
yeah,
seemed like
right.
you're just like, whoa.
This is how the real guys that really know what they're doing are doing. Okay, all
Yeah.
right. So I was
pH.
37, a young stud there. All right, so you get your Rockwell cubes, and then you're either going to do cycle or non-recovery, whatever system you're going to fucking do. Okay. And I got my seeds. The only time I ever bought seeds was from Neville. Hayes Northern Lights. It was so bad, I never ordered seeds again ever and wouldn't. I don't give a shit. The reputation, I don't give a shit about it. If this guy is next to Jesus Christ, I wouldn't buy him. Okay. Because this was the worst crap. I couldn't fucking believe it, man. I mean, like bend you over the hood of the car. Like, this is how this guy made his career off this fucking strain. In the description, I'll find it for you. I'll send it to you, PDF. The catalog when Neville
What
first
about the
came.
take on the seeds being like before they opened up Operation Green Merchant, they had like seeds were confiscated that were shipped, and then they took the seeds and then they gave
Yeah.
different seeds.
Yes.
Like, what were you saying about that before? I remember
Yeah. DEA had an operation at Boston Airport. That's because of European flights. And when they would confiscate packages that these guys weren't all that good, believe me. They went that stealth. That was their big advertising, but are you fucking kidding me? Anyway, it was not uncommon to replace it with bunk seeds and just, move it on. So I mean, there's all kinds of shit going on. And you had that clown in Vancouver, BC, and Mark Emery daring the DEA to come after him.
Oh, begging them.
Are you out
Just
of your
begging
fucking
them.
mind?
Yeah, he was out of it. He was begging for it, and then they found a reason to give him 5 years. Yeah,
And U.S.
and almost
federal.
got his 5 friends arrested too. Like just goading on the DEA. Like no, fucking retard. I don't
You
know.
know, some of us,
He loved it though. He loved it.
some of us decided that going to prison wasn't a good thing. And so we made extra effort to make sure we didn't get busted. I mean, you got to be smart, or at least as smart as the DEA agent. Remember, by the end of the 70s, the DEA was just getting started. The law had only been passed in like 73. In 79, they were still picking out window treatments for their offices. Okay, they hadn't, and cocaine was, they saw that one, and there was a lot more public outcry to get rid of cocaine than there was weed. All right. And they got nuts. I mean, they got funding like, who would want to stop this? So Congress just shoveled money like crazy. And then they went after rock cocaine because that was used by African Americans. Well, who would want to put some African Americans in prison? Okay, so you got worse. If you were doing crack cocaine, you did more prison time than if you're just doing powder. Blow me. Okay, I mean, you're muted, Gorski. Gorski, you're muted.
Yeah. I remember seeing a video of Biden talking about crack cocaine when he was imprisoning a bunch of people in the community, and fucking he was like, all you need is a piece this big and you're going away. And then after fucking you had your 3 strikes and you're out bullshit with Clinton. Fucking yeah, man. No, it's awful what they did to people. I think in general they've fucked the cannabis community. They've fucked just
You know why it's legal now? It has nothing to do with morality. It has nothing to do with politics. It has
They
to
just
do with
needed
one
more
thing.
tax dollars.
That's it.
Hmm.
There was a politician in California 70 years ago, and he said this, that money is the mother's milk of politics. You get a source of revenue. Think about this. Oregon has no sales tax. If you come here and you buy a $50,000 car, you don't pay any tax. Now you may when you get it home. Okay, that's between you and the state or wherever. But when it comes to cannabis, it's over 28%. So you go buy $100 of crap weed or whatever, and you're gonna pay $28.50 in taxes. Down in California, you already have 9.5% sales tax. Imagine okay, we're not even talking a cannabis tax yet. We're just talking sales tax. Whether you're buying or whatever. Now you add on the county's going to want some money, right? And then the city, where that dispensary is, they're probably going to want some money too, right?
oh yeah.
You're up around 45% by the time it's over.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts.
When you go to the dispensary, dude, they talk about out the door prices now, and that's the only thing. Like that was a statement you used buying a fucking car, not fucking weed, man. So like, out the door, $35 out the door.
With pride, I can tell you, I have never been in a dispensary. I've never been intrigued to even walk into one. The only time I've ever had anything from a dispensary is somebody trying to prove to me that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, and I laugh in their face after I smoke their whatever. No, this is really good dabs. No, it isn't. This is crap. If you start with crap weed, I don't give a shit what you do to it. You got crap extract. It's I mean,
That's fact.
you know. That's why when I had an Instagram account many years ago, I used to have a turd in the punch bowl award each week. And it was a Photoshop of a bowl of punch, crystal, with a turd floating in it, one of those plastic turds. Okay, and I would get an award for like the joke of the week, in the cannabis scene. So that's how yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's just a little mushroom cap.
Hey, legalization of mushrooms has been a disaster here. It's just a fucking disaster.
I still get mine from friends that like to grow in substrate. I don't really understand the
It's so
whole.
it's so easy.
It's so easy.
Growing mushrooms is way easier than growing tomatoes.
I mean,
You need two things. You need perlite and you need I'm going to get this wrong. Vermiculite.
Yeah.
Vermiculite, yeah, and perlite.
There's people that
You
have
want
like
you want inert. You want inert. And then you sterilize that. That's your substrate. And then you get the stuff in liquid form or powder, whatever, from mushrooms.com, and you inject it. And 3 or 4 days later, and you get more than one harvest. You cut it down, and you wait a couple of days, and it'll be smaller. But so by the time you get, usually they're called anyway.
Your flush.
I can't remember the term.
You get a couple different flushes from your growth.
Flushes, thank you. That's it. Flushes. Yeah, you can get like two or three anywhere. I was microdosing for a depression a few years ago.
Yeah.
And so I was only doing 0.2 grams a day. And then you do it 5 days a week, and then you take 2 days off. So you're only doing a gram a week. But with one cycle, I could make enough medicine for like a year. And I wasn't even like doing a bunch. I mean, just if what you want is a small amount, especially for depression, and I know where you're at. I did it, and it's called the Stamets protocol. Paul Stamets from fungi.com. But that's his, and there's some other things I take. Also taking it with lion's mane and
reishi, turkey tail, cordyceps.
No, it's that's the only fungi is the lion's mane, and that which is easy to grow too, by the way. You can buy that in blocks. You can buy a box that you just pull it open, and within a week you'll have lion's mane mushroom. Grow at home. You order them from Amazon. Get them from Home Depot. Okay.
Paul Stamets has a 17 mushroom blend.
Yes.
I take it, and he uses the bottom part of it, not the caps, but the actual like in the substrate.
Okay, do you know what a mushroom is? What a mushroom is a flower agent, flowering, not a flower, because fungi is not a plant. The history of the world goes like this. Fungi was the first, and then came plant, and then from that came animals. So fungi predates everything. The spores are underneath most, there's some differences in specific strains of mushrooms, but that's where the spores are. Each one of those spores turns into a new colony, and that's how mushrooms reproduce. But see, where mushrooms are different from like bacteria deconstructs organic matter, right? Fungi don't eat things, they deconstruct it. That's how it's used for soil remediation, by being able to take that pesticide and fungicides that have been sprayed on the farmland and deconstruct it into what its elements. carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen for the most part. See how it works? And so that's where the difference. And so they don't shit anything. Like bacteria shit because they're eating something. I hope I'm making sense on this.
No,
Fungi
it's
deconstruct molecules.
Yeah.
Fungi deconstruct molecules. They don't eat something.
Yeah. No,
That's how it works with soil remediation. It is here's a way of doing it, or that's done commercially. You take sheets of burlap, they hydrate it with, and then with some food, whatever fungi food, and then they inoculate it. Now they let it dry. They can ship that in pallets, stacked. These sheets, one on top of the other, right? It gets to destination. You lay those sheets on the ground, and now it grows into the soil and deconstructs those pesticides and fungicides and neutralizes the other bad things. How's that? That's a stupid way to put it, but anyway, that's how that works. A really good book is Trad Cotter's Organic Mushroom Farming and Soil Remediation. That's the title. And most excellent book on how we can reclaim our farmland. And it's being done in the Midwest in areas that have been sprayed so much that the land isn't even agricultural anymore. You can't support plants. So we realized we created these huge deserts in at one time the richest farmland in the world. But let's get into
sad. Bayer, Monsanto's, what they did to the humankind, and then what they did after that to the farmland, and then how they've it was a Joe Rogan episode where they talked about how DDT was sprayed on basically fucking everything, and how they were saying
60s, before,
saying certain vaccinations were touted and shouted from the rooftops for helping with a bunch of different things, but once they stopped spraying DDT and fucking dipping their animals in these chemicals, they saw a lot of these problems subside before the vaccines. Like people were killing themselves by spraying DDT everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And like they were spraying
destroyed migratory bird eggs. The shell wouldn't harden to allow the yolk to develop into a chick. All kinds of
deformities.
To me, in your youth, our youth, a person's youth, you have goofy ideas. That's just part of growing up. I get that. But I just wonder, did the cannabis have to be turned into this? It is to like being high, not stoned, but being high, like Jack in the Box is to tacos. It's just the shit that comes out of these dispensaries. It's appalling. Absolutely appalling.
No offense to the people that still go there. And hey, best of luck because of what they cook their French fries in nowadays and what they spray their potatoes with. But people still feel comfortable going to McDonald's, my man. Like I found out about their potatoes and how they have to off gas for like 2 weeks before you can fucking walk around them, so that they're the perfect size and they're perfectly white and all that stuff.
And only one species, monocropping. The same thing with like barley. All beer is, seriously. You can add anything you want, but its very core, beer is 3 items: water, barley, which has been germinated and then called malted barley, and hops. That's it. So you can't just show up to Anheuser-Busch and go, hey, I got a load of barley. You guys want to buy it? No, because it doesn't have to be good. Excuse me. Budweiser beer doesn't have to be good, but you know what it has to be? It's consistent. So if Joe the beer drinker has a beer in New York, but it tastes like this, and when he's in LA, it tastes like this, the same. It's consistency. You don't have to be good. You just have to be consistent. And then you develop your market. That's how you market shit. Okay, so you have to, if you want to be a producer, you grow a specific strain of barley, a hybrid developed probably at Oregon State University, which has Barley World online. They're one of the biggest think tanks for barley production. Because you know how big barley is around the world? Sales, beer. I mean, think how much there. One thing about the human race, the millennia that humans learned how to take seeds and turn it into an alcoholic beverage, they haven't stopped. And barley using barley because it predates wheat. Barley was in the human race before wheat, about 800, 900 years. Barley would purify the water. More humans have died from bad water over the course of the human race than all the wars combined. This wasn't to get drunk, it was a way of purifying the water. That was really an important discovery.
And
Keep
then
your children alive.
Through purifying the water, they found out about fermentation.
Fermentation did purify the water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't to get drunk, though that came later. But you know, their babies quit dying, you know, that kind of stuff. Dysentery and you know.
Well, because they were dipshits that didn't know that you couldn't put your shit water together with your drinking water.
Hey, they just figured out how to plant a seed. I mean, before we were food gatherers, and then barley allowed the human race to become food producers. That gave birth to societies, cities, you know, organized into collective groups. Yeah, the history of barley is really fascinating.
How far back does it go where they actually have like the first beer?
I believe it's 10,000.
Okay.
I mean, that's what the human race did. They wandered the earth and found game and plants to eat before. Now, when you're a food producer, you can organize into societies. What we've done in the last, 80 years since the end of World War II is appalling in this country. I mean, look at it. I don't know how old you're, but look at the obesity levels in this society. I mean, I know that,
It's easy now.
my God. Think about it. A can of Coke has 3 tablespoons of sugar. 3 tablespoons. That's 18 teaspoons. How many people in your life have you known that took a 6-pack to work and drank that during the day?
Well, the counterpart to that is the things that are creating other problems is the sugar-free like diet.
Well,
the word,
dear.
The correlation between autism and children and the mothers drinking Diet Coke.
Absolutely.
And
go back
that, and all that other hoopla. Yeah, it's pretty fascinating how people can just Well, and that's what shows you why the cannabis industry is fucking on its head, dude. It's upside down because people will drink and eat and do things to their body that they know are bad for them, and then they legalized pot, and people don't give a shit as long as they can buy a pre-roll and forget about their day at work for maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, before they get TikTok on their phone to see what influencers buying $18,000 handbag. I don't know.
Our
It's a weird
$200
society.
cigars. Have you seen that? The
The what?
cannagars, the cigars
What's
that are
that?
the cannagars.
Oh, Jesus, no.
They're wrapped in
No.
gold. Yeah, man.
Ridiculously expensive.
Oh, fuck.
They're kind of overkill on the highest level, but yeah.
I
I
remember
don't.
the first, well, it was actually only one time. I was challenged to smoke some autoflower. I don't remember the name, doesn't matter. And I remember smoking it, and it had some really goofy fucking name. And I said, well, why don't you change it to this? Why not? Why bother? That'd be a good name for this. And, what I like about when people talk about autoflowers is always, no, this guy really knows what he's doing. They got it down now. No, they don't. No, they don't. Ruderalis is not going to, never mind.
So
You can bang that drum slowly all you want. It's still shit. I mean, in California, or some states in the United States, they used to have mandated that you could only sell 3.2 beer. Okay. 3.2 beer wouldn't get a fly high. Like, malts, you're getting up around 8 or 9%, just to give you a frame of reference. And yet people would talk about, oh yeah, they got really good beer in Milwaukee or whatever state, would have these 3.2 laws. No, you're just going through the motion, you're not getting drunk. Maybe drink maybe a 12 pack or something.
what about mead? Do you ever get into that stuff?
And it what?
Mead, honey wine?
I have,
Or
yes. I mean, just because I was curious. I mean, yeah. I was like your typical American drinker, Budweiser and shooters of tequila when I went through my drinking phase.
yeah.
And
No, I
then it
thought
was really, yeah. I was sitting in a bar one day and I got up and went to the bathroom and came out and I looked around and I thought, man, I've been in better dumps than this. I've taken my trash to better dumps than this. And I had ordered a beer before I went to use the facilities. And I didn't even take a drink of it. I just said, that's it. And I never had another drink.
yeah, I remember my last drink at Old Chicago's.
Oh, the pizza place?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But that was shit 6 years ago. So it's not too long. I mean, I don't have that much under my belt, but yeah, man, it's fucking I can't imagine what I'd be doing right now if I was drinking.
No, I wasted years. So
Yeah. No, I remember you sharing with me before, but it's yeah, man, I just fucking do a little bit of happy stuff during the day and try to get around the house and try to get things motivated to have a good time, and I enjoy conversations like this more than you'll ever know.
good. It's Yeah, I know what you're going through, man. It's fucked.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a interesting path, life. I wish I could have been able to spend more time with my wife and go through it with her and understand our relationship with our son. And but she's on a different path, grieving a different way, so she has to
Yeah,
deal with it the way she wants to.
I understand. It's very difficult when a couple lose a child. You know, I get it. It's hard. All right, gentlemen, I got to go. It was nice. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Had a good
man.
time as usual.
Thank you for stopping by, Coot. It's awesome having you as always, and it was a
Yeah, bro.
pleasure talking to you.
Get ready.
Thanks a lot.
I'm
And
ready to wind down too. I got about an hour and a half drive ahead of me, so
all right.
Oh,
Well, thanks for stopping by, Groski.
yeah,
all right,
man.
man. Take care,
Thanks
guys.
so much, guys. Take care. See you later.